bit. So this diagram, people from TikTok, I have to do this for you to see this easily or clearly. So don't worry about my face, okay? Until we get done with this diagram. So people from TikTok, I don't know if this is visible on YouTube. Yes, good. So that is the diagram that all of us are going to use. And why are we using this diagram? It's because we have three electrolytes here. If you're very keen, you'll see one here is the potassium, the K plus. Down here we have the chloride, the Cl minus. And down here we have sodium, the Na positive or plus. Those are the three electrons that are used or that are actually used for to deduce the medication for epilepsy and all that. Why? You will understand them. For now, simply understand that that one is a nerve cell. Okay, that's a neuron. So this is a nerve cell. It has a head here. We have the nucleus here, and then this is the inside the nerve, and this one is outside the nerve. On the nerve ending here, on the wall or the lining of the nerve, we have something that is called the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is what I tell you that nerve cells are covered with an insulator. So all nerves are covered, not all nerves, but most nerves are covered with an insulator. And those nerves that are covered with an insulator, the reason why they are covered with that insulator is because they want faster transmission. Because remember, nerve cells are like electric wires. They transmit electricity, in quotes. So those nerve cells are covered by an insulator. And that insulator actually helps in the faster transmission of neurons and nerve impulses, okay? So understand this. That myelin sheath, that insulator, is cholesterol. One of the reasons why we cannot live without cholesterol is because nerve cells really require cholesterol for them to function adequately. Okay? Again, another reason why you cannot live without salt, which is sodium and chloride, is because also nerve impulses are actually easily transmitted when you have sodium and you have chloride. Now you will understand that sodium and chloride are two different ones when it comes to nervous transmission. One is an excitatory, the other one is an inhibitory. I'm saying this because I want you to start by understanding that when you're talking about epilepsy or seizures, understand that there is an excitation in the CNS, in the central nervous system. So there's an excitation. You feel excited and you're super excited to an extent that you convulse. So that excitement is what drugs target to actually suppress the overreacting brain and CNS. Once you've gotten that, that is the concept, that is the backbone, that is the skeleton. It's now asked to put on some flesh here and there. So the flesh is, we have neurons, and these neurons are taking in sodium, they are taking in chloride, some are pumping out sodium and pumping out potassium, pumping out chloride, and that exchange of neurons is where the seizures start from. Because for you to excite a nerve, you must pump in sodium. Now, I have already started, but before I even start with that diagram, allow me to take you through this story here now. So we have seizures, we have epilepsy, we have convulsions, we have status epilepticus, and then we will manage epilepsy and seizures in pregnancy. Write that down and now start questioning me as we go ahead one by one. So listen to this definition of epilepsy. Okay, but this is like a summary of it all. Epilepsy is chronic recurrent neurological disorders. Disorders, not a disorder, disorders. So it's chronic and recurrent and also neurological. Neurological means nerve disorders. So neurological, neuro is a nerve. Neurological disorders characterized by sensory problems. So therefore no pain. You might end up having no pain at all. That's why these people can hurt themselves without feeling the pain. And then we have motor disturbance. So inability of these children, of these people, to coordinate their muscles. And that's why they are warned against driving when you have these seizures or when you're on drugs for seizures. And then we have loss of consciousness. Now you see loss of consciousness comes in as the last one. Okay, that's where you lose consciousness. And whenever somebody mentions convulsions or epilepsy, most of us are quick to run thinking that epilepsy will happen after somebody has fallen down. So all convulsions or all seizures have to end in convulsions. That's not true. Remember, seizures are what are happening in the central nervous system. So a seizure is that excitation of those neurons. You can get that excitation and you'll not even fall. So not all seizures end up in convulsions. But prolonged seizures that are not controlled are the ones that will bring you the convulsions. Are you now clear? One, The seizure is actually initiated by neurons and excitation neurons in your head and your brain. And some of this excitation can happen basically on all, the whole part of the brain or at specific areas of the brain. So depending on where it happens, we can classify those seizures into two broad classes. The first class is the grand mal, from the word grand mula, grand whatever, grand means big. So we have the grand mal and then smaller ones, the petit mal. So the petite, the small mal, the small seizures are the ones that target focal points, very specific places of the brain. And depending on the function of that place that these seizures are happening, you can get different outcomes. Okay, you can lose memory if it's targeting the frontal lobe. You can lose sensation. You can lose a sense of smell, depending on where it is actually targeting. But the grand mal targets literally the entire brain, and that's why you end up having the convulsions and all that. So those are the two classes of the seizures: the excitation, grand mal and petit mal. Once you've understood that, we can now continue. After you've understood that, so the grand mal is the one that is prolonged, and then you end up convulsing and your muscles get to relax. When the muscles get to relax, the bladder muscles also relax and somebody gets to urinate. You've seen most of them, after they've fallen down, they start urinating. Okay, they just pass urine aimlessly and they have no control over it because the bladder muscles have relaxed and now you just pass, and the brain was so suppressed and you pass urine. However, on that note of passing urine, I remember when when I was a small boy in the village, there were very rare cases of this epilepsy, but at least once you'd see one guy here, another one in that other village and all that, okay? So the weird part is that when these guys fall down and they urinate, our parents used to, they used to sell fear to us successfully. They used to lie to us that if you end up skipping that urine, or if you go past that urine of somebody who has epilepsy, guess what will happen? You're the next. Hey, you're the next. So if somebody's convulsing here, you're supposed to run through the other door. You see how the stigma started? So it became so bad that the parents used to hide their children. And then they told us that when you get near fire or when you get near water, that epilepsy loves water and loves fire. So if these guys sit near fire or the fireplace, chance of them convulsing is so high. They will fall into the fire and they'll burn because there's no pain. Or if they go for swimming or they're just near a river, boom, they will fall into the river and they will collapse and they will drown. And we used to believe these things and we were wondering why would God decide to make these guys this way? Why not us? Why are we a special generation? And imagine we would run away from somebody who is convulsing. But we'll realize there are women who are very active in the villages. When somebody falls, they are busy with their cooking sticks, and some will carry some spoons and put into their mouths. You force a cooking stick into somebody who is convulsing's mouth so that they don't bite their tongue. Now, possibly they had an idea to protect the tongue, but you will realize these are involuntary movements, which basically means if you put that cooking stick in their mouth, you will actually hurt them even more. Okay? Because you'll hurt their jaws. It is involuntary. They are not under control. It's not that they want to bite that tongue. No. They're even struggling to evade that. So we used to do all these things, these crazy things. But I remember that in the journey of my sister, and I hope she can allow me to say this story, but I'll hold back a little bit until she decides to say it's time for us to share it. But this is the truth. That it started off as infantile seizures. So she would get sick, and anytime she got sick, we will be sure that this one is going to faint. So we will say, "Huyu anaenda." So we used to know that anytime she gets sick, there will be an episode of fainting. There will be an episode of producing that saliva, that foam in the mouth and all that. And it was very bad. And now, the more you want her to be well, the more she gets sick. So every time it was tension in that house. Now, when she faints or when she convulses, we run to the hospital. And before we run to the hospital, we will actually pour cold water on her. Hey, I know these things, you guys have seen them. That somebody convulses and the first thing you do is to pour water on them. Cold water, you pour cold water on them with the hope that, oh, we can resuscitate their heart and they can now wake up. We can shock them and they can wake up. And these things are happening. And I believe even now they are still happening. You will kill those people. Oh, you will kill those people. So we used to take her to hospital and she's put on a drip, glucose plus some. I didn't know it was diazepam that time. And then she sleeps. And then when she wakes up, she's so confused. She doesn't know where she was. And she's asking questions from yesterday. Now you're like, okay, did you just switch off and now you're coming back? So it was so annoying, but what can you do? You don't know anything. And then there was this famous doctor of ours in our village. There was a guy who was very sharp. His name was Dr. Kubuta or something. I believe so. A very good family friend to my father those days, because they grew up together. So this guy was part of the team that was attending to State House in Nakuru. That's why I love Nakuru. So this guy had some ideas and all this, and he came in later on when she was about 8 or so, and then he put her on phenobarbital, that 30 milligrams every single day for 90 days straight. And at least in those 90 days, we never saw a seizure. So we were so excited. Possibly this is the cure. And then they dropped the drug. So she got better with those medications. So I am not here to dispute any medication for epilepsy. As long as you're there, you can use the medication. So this is the only one I'll not dispute the medication, because I know and I've walked the journey, okay? So now, after that, then she grew up, went into primary school, a good life, then high school, boom, they're back. And then she was put on carbamazepine, famously known as Tegretol, 200 milligrams. And then the problem is the weight that came with that. She put up so much weight. And I don't know if those drugs have a thing of adding appetite or something. I don't know. She put up so much weight. I was looking at her at 122 kgs. I was like, no way. No way. At least I was 102. 122, and she's younger than me, about 10 years younger than me. You can imagine that. So it was so annoying. But again, you're here, you don't know anything, you can't do anything. So that has been a story though. But I understand the stigma that comes with these things. So I want you to understand this very well. It might be difficult for you to get the concepts around epilepsy and the medication and the mode of actions, but it is very necessary for you to understand it, because you can actually help somebody else. You already seen, I've already told you that if they are convulsing, you should never pour cold water on them. Okay? And you should never put a cooking stick or a spoon or something into their mouth to prevent them from biting their tongues. Maybe you can do something like a cotton wool, but that will not prevent the teeth from biting the tongue. So it's very bad to stop them from doing that, because you will hurt them even more. Okay? Good. So now, back to our diagram. So I want you to understand this. I hope we can go through it together. So this is inside the neuron. This is, let's say, a neuron that transmits impulses for you to get a reaction. Maybe you're touching a pan and you need to withdraw that hand from that pan instantly. So if you want to withdraw that hand from that pan so that you don't burn further, it means there must be nervous transmission from that hand to the brain and then back. We take the sensory transmission from the hand to the brain. Underline the word sensory, which means sensor. Sensor means you are sensing something, because sensory receptors are on the skin. So you sense the heat, the transmission is sent into the brain. Imagine that speed, sent into the brain, and then you get back a feedback, and that feedback is telling your hand, please retract that hand from that pan so that you don't burn. Now imagine this. If you have problems with these nerves, if you don't have enough cholesterol that is supposed to insulate this, because I told you the insulator is cholesterol. So that insulator is the one that makes that nervous transmission to be quicker. So if you have problems with nerves, if you have sugar problems, if you have low cholesterol in your system, these nerves are already altered. Therefore, the transmission of impulses is actually diminished. So as you put that hand in that pan, you can burn to death without feeling any pain, without feeling the need to retract it. You might feel the pain, but you're unable to retract it because the transmission of impulses from the hand to the brain and from the brain to the hand are actually messed up. Okay? So be very careful about this. When you talk about sugar, understand that you need to actually drop that sugar totally. So now, this inside the nerve. And I hope people on TikTok will still see this though. Okay, so this is inside the nerve and this is outside the nerve. And this is the head, so it's transmitting all these impulses. Now look at it this way. We have 3 electrolytes: sodium, chloride, and potassium. So when you're pumping sodium inside the neuron or the nerve cell, when all this sodium are going in, they are going to, because they are positively charged, they are going to make sure that inside the neuron is actually positively charged. Understand that before I move. So the sodium that are coming inside are going to make it positive. And when you say positive, we say it is activated. So the sodium are going to make this nerve activated, which means this neuron will be super active, right? So it will be very fast pumping neurons, all that, the firings and all that. And that is where epilepsy is coming from, because a high influx of sodium, influx means entry, efflux means exit. So influx. So a high influx of sodium into the neuron will cause you the epilepsy. Once you've understood that, let's continue. So when you pump sodium in, we get into a state that we call depolarization. So this active state, the activation state, is what we call depolarization. This is going also to benefit the pharmacy students and the medical students. So pay attention. So when you have depolarization, that is an active state. Okay? Now, for us to suppress this, we need to make it inactive. So once we've pumped sodium in, and then we have that nervous transmission, and now we have said enough, the transmission is enough, we've achieved our activity. We want to bring this nerve back to relaxation mode. Through negative feedback, what happens is you will either pump out potassium, which will remove the positive from the inside, so the potassium goes out, or you will have to pump in chloride to neutralize the positive charge, because this is a negative. Chloride is a negative one. Now you see how salt plays a very important role in this? So you have sodium and you have chloride. All of them are regulating each other. So when you pump more sodium in, you activate the nerve. You transmit neurons very fast. You get excited. Now when you've gotten excited and now you're relaxing, you have to pump in the chloride so that it neutralizes the sodium, and now we have a negative state. When you have a negative state, that is called deactivation. Okay, remember the first one, the positive one was activation. Now we have deactivated, neutralized it. That is deactivation. And that state that is called deactivation, when you're pumping out potassium or when you're pumping in chloride, that state is what we call hyperpolarization. Do not struggle with the cramming the names. Simply understand we have two states, the activated state and the activated state. For the medical student and the pharmacy student, we have depolarization because we pumped in sodium, and then we have the hyperpolarization because we are pumping in the negatives. Now, understand this. Here, when we are pumping in chloride, for us to make sure that the nerve does not overreact, there is a neurotransmitter here that is called GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, GABA. Why is this GABA important? This GABA is the neurotransmitter that most of the drugs activate. Remember, in epilepsy, we have this neuron being super excited, so we want it to relax. So therefore, we pump in drugs that will activate, pumping chloride into the neuron for us to deactivate the nerve. Therefore, most of the drugs that actually target this or are used in epilepsy, they target this neurotransmitter called GABA. And they activate GABA because GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. When I say inhibitory, we already understood it deactivates the active nerve, right? So now it becomes an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So most of those drugs, the diazepams, the phenobarbital, the phenytoin, what they do is they activate GABA, and when they activate GABA, they pump chloride inside the activated neuron. And when that happens, the neutralization happens and your brain goes into relaxation mode. I have already talked to you about the mode of action of drugs for epilepsy. Look at that. Because this is the home of healthcare. This is a home where we make medicine look very easy. We make pharmacy look so easy to understand. So most drugs, once you've understood that when you pump in sodium, I am going to activate this neuron. And when I pump out potassium, or when I pump in chloride, which brings in the negative effect or the negative charge, I am going to actually cause hyperpolarization, and this neuron will become inactive. Therefore, seizures will start going low. But when it's activated, we are hyper. That hyper, excessive and uncontrollable neurotransmission in the brain, the hyperactivity, that is what is causing the convulsions. Now, when you have convulsions, that is not epilepsy. Those are just super activation of the neurons in the brain. Those are seizures. Now, when these seizures prolong, they can actually cause you the jerky movements, the involuntary muscle movements, and that's what we call now convulsions. Even falling and urinating, that is now convulsions. Okay? And now when this is chronic over a long period of time and it's very recurrent, that is now epilepsy. Do you understand the difference now? So we start from a seizure, we grow into convulsions, and then now we grow into epilepsy, which is now a condition. And now, when you're having all these issues, all these excitation and these convulsions over and over, and these convulsions are lasting for more than 5 minutes, that is now what we call status epilepticus. It is an emergency and it needs hospitalization. It's called status epilepticus. Now that is beyond you now. That comes to us for us to handle it there. We give you diazepam or a benzodiazepine, or we can give you phenytoin, and I'll tell you how to manage this in hospital setup for the sake of the medical students and the pharmacy students. Amazing, right? So now if you start understanding that, you are literally becoming a doctor. Slowly and carefully. Slowly and carefully. Somebody's asking me what is ADHD. ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. This child is super active. They cannot control themselves in that activity. But we've talked about ADHD already, right? We talked about it. So this is convulsions. Once you've understood that basics, that is the skeleton. You don't need anything more to it. You will simply understand. So if you ask your doctor, what is the mode of action of this drug? Already in your head, you know, I am going to activate the gamma aminobutyric acid. Just call it GABA, GABA. When I activate GABA, I am going to pump chloride ions into the neuron, inside the neuron. When I pump these chloride ions inside the nerve cell becomes relaxed and the convulsions disappear. So when you're being injected with diazepam, when you're being given any other benzodiazepam like clorazepam, this is what you're doing. On that note, this is the same mode of action that happens in people who have chewed mirror the whole night and they are so excited they can't sleep. Their CNS is super active, they cannot sleep. So now they take diazepam tablets, they activate the GABA. The GABA suppresses their overreacting brain, and now they go into sleep. And that's why diazepam is used as an anti-epileptic, also used as a sedative, also used as an anxiolytic agent to kill or to fight anxiety, also used to suppress your memory. Okay, so yes, it has a lot of actions, and you'll wonder why is diazepam being used all over. It's also going to be used as an anesthetic agent, because once you activate GABA, you cause inhibition in the neuron, and now every single thing that happens from the CNS is zero. And the side effect is when you do that, when you suppress the CNS, you will suppress the respiratory centers. Therefore, you might end up dying of poor respiration. Okay, you need your respiration to be active. So when you're taking those diazepam tablets to help you with the side effects of Mira, the cut, that is amphetamine, you're actually going to end up getting respiratory suppression or depression, and you will die. So as you rush to that pharmacy because yesterday you did, you ulichana usiku mzima, and now you're going to the pharmacy to buy diazepam. And now I know pharmacies are selling diazepam over the counter. This is a drug that is so regulated under Schedule 2. It is so regulated, it's not supposed to be given without a prescription. It's not supposed to be given without a due date. That day that is dispensed is supposed to be, and then you keep those prescriptions. It's there. It's the law. So you suppress your CNS, and that's why you will sleep, because you see the body sends you into slumber because you cannot breathe enough. So you will not supply oxygen to muscles enough. So what you need is the body has to send you into sleeping. You're sleeping because the least oxygen that you're taking in will just be targeted to the heart muscles and to the brain, and to sustain other small organs like the liver and the kidney, so that you can actually sustain yourself with the least amount of oxygen that you're taking in, because the drug has already suppressed the breathing centers in the brain. So now the body has to adapt, and that's how God designed the body. It's so perfect that it does its own thing. Like you can mess it up, but it still try to find the balance. Imagine that. Struggle to find the balance. When it finds that balance, you keep on disrupting it. Tomorrow, you just woke up now. You're back to eating Mira. Again, the same cycle. And then the body says, I am now tired. At that level in time, you are admission material. Look at alcohol. You can take alcohol every single day, and you know alcohol is part of those things that actually cause seizures. You can take alcohol and your liver keeps on forgiving you, working out very hard tirelessly for you, until it comes to a point where the liver says, now I am tired. Now that is liver cirrhosis. And now that's the time you want to quit alcohol. You want to tell us, oh, I quit alcohol. No, I'm saved now. That is too late. But thank God, again, the liver will rejuvenate. Okay? Somebody's asking, what is Mira? Mira is cat. Khat. It's a stimulant drug that is chewed in Kenya. They put it under on their cheeks and they chew it. And I wonder, guys, who chew Mira? I would like to know. You never get tired. Like, your jaws never get tired. How can you chew the whole night? Are you a cow? How can you chew the whole night? Doesn't even make sense, man. Then you come back with the things here, white stuff here. It looks so ugly anyway. So now, after that, let's move to the causes of this. Now, I want you to see these causes and you get to relate to them on how to just manage this condition, okay? One of the causes is alcohol, of course, but this is in the elderly. Most of these conditions happen in those who are still young and teenagers. So what is actually causing this? Of course, drug abuse is part of it. Drug abuse is part of it. Okay? Then, number two, of course, the system will always tell you it has no known cause. Hey, I laugh at that all the time. It has no known cause. Like, these seizures just came from the air and they were sent here by Noah and bam, they strike you. The gods are watching. Huh? They send you the seizure and just like a lightning, whoop, you've been whooped and now it has no known cause. So they don't want to understand. They don't want to even think about it. They don't want to strain. Scientists also don't want to strain. They are tired. So this one has no known cause. Anyway, cause number three, metabolic disorders. Which one? Glucose. Now, low glucose or hyperglycemia, high glucose levels can actually expose you to seizures. So both levels, high and low. How do you get into low glucose? Taking rice water to lose weight. Drinking alcohol can actually cause you problems with this. Some diseases like malaria. Okay? And some drugs also, like quinine also. So those drugs for malaria will actually cause you these problems. Anyway, so low glucose or high glucose, that difference can cause you the seizures. Number four, which we cannot control, is trauma. Physical trauma can actually bring you this problem, not psychological trauma. Psychological trauma is you causing it, but these are physical trauma. Okay? And then, of course, infections. Some infections can actually cause you seizures. And I've just told you the story of my sister. So every time she'd get malaria, the fevers go up. When the fevers go up, she's convulsing. Amazing story. And then, of course, electrolyte imbalance. Put your finger on that. Electrolyte imbalance, because this is the most important part. Because when you understand this, you will know what to use to balance this condition. Because we don't want to go these drug directions. Because again, these drugs, you will see they are very toxic. They make you put up some weight. Okay? Good. So, electrolyte imbalance like sodium. So when you have high sodium levels, you will end up having this, because you see we are sending sodium into the cell. But when you have high sodium plus chloride, you're safer. That's why salt comes with sodium chloride. Of course, again, low magnesium or high magnesium levels. Now, in pregnant women, doctors, if you're intending to use magnesium sulfate to treat this type of seizures in pregnancy, start by ruling out preeclampsia and eclampsia. Don't just rush because they are convulsing, you're putting them on magnesium sulfate. That is a crime. Because you don't know if this pregnant woman has deficiency or excess magnesium. So you might kill this pregnant woman. So do not rush to take magnesium sulfate injection and pump it into them to clear the seizures. Rule out preeclampsia and eclampsia, and then from there now, you can give them magnesium. Okay? Good. Another one, vitamin deficiencies. Now, I want you to take note of this. You see, the most important vitamin here is vitamin B1, the thiamine. Again, to the doctors, if you're trying to manage somebody who has seizures and who has a known history of alcoholism, do not rush to give them glucose because they are into hypoglycemia. Do not rush to give them glucose. Run a thorough history to know that this patient is an alcoholic or not an alcoholic. Why? Because when you run a thorough history, this is why I tell you, you will always find the diagnosis before even sending them to the lab, as long as you do thorough patient examination and patient history, and even medication history. So some doctors, because this guy has come here, he's fainting, he's convulsing, and he's been told that, this guy, we just picked him in the trench along the road. So we brought him here because he's convulsing. And then you are quick there to just pump in glucose 50% because you're thinking because he smells alcohol, you're pumping in glucose. You will end up killing this patient. What you need is vitamin B1 injection first for them, because remember, alcohol depletes vitamin B1. And again, vitamin B1 deficiency is the cause of convulsions. Look at that. Amazing, right? So when you're looking at that liver and avoiding that liver, telling us that this liver has the toxins, the liver accumulates toxins, so I cannot eat liver. I don't eat eggs because they cause me skin rashes and all that. You're losing out on vitamin B1, and you might give birth to children who are having these convulsions. So this is to the pregnant women: eat eggs, eat the liver. You need vitamin B1 to help your child in prevention of infantile seizures and even to prevent these conditions like epilepsy in future. So pregnant women should eat eggs, should eat the liver, should fast. Vitamin B1 is called thiamine. You will also realize that drugs for epilepsy will cause you mineral deficiencies like vitamin B9. And this is the reason why when they are given Tegretol, which is called carbamazepine, some of them are given with folic acid. Now just remember this, that folic acid is not folate. Folate is the active and the natural form of vitamin B9. It is not the tablet. That tablet that you take, those yellow tablets that you take of folic acid, those are folic acid. They are synthetic. They are made in the lab. They are not natural sources of vitamin B9. And the body struggles to convert that folic acid into methylfolate, the active ingredient. And for the ladies, as you age, as you grow into adulthood, most of you, actually 65% of adult women, do not have the enzyme that actually converts folic acid into methylfolate, the active ingredient. So imagine, as a pregnant lady, you're taking the iron supplements. Oh, I want to protect my child from getting the spinal cord defects or the neuronal tube defects, because you've been told by the system that folic acid tablets are going to help you control or prevent the occurrence of neuronal tube defects. You're lying to yourself, because I told you, as you take those folic acid tablets, one, they are synthetic, so the body struggles to assimilate them. You need natural sources of folate, which is in the beans, which is in the liver, which is in the egg yolks. Imagine, natural sources, and they are very available, but you don't want to, right? So as you take that folic acid supplement, you're actually taking it after the brain and the spinal cord have already fused, because most ladies start to take this after the 4th week of pregnancy. And you see, the 4th week of pregnancy, in those 4 weeks, the first month is when the brain and the spinal cord fuse. So by the time you're bringing in your folic acid tablets, you're wasting time, because they cannot help this child. The brain and the spinal cord has already fused, and your target is to prevent neuronal tube defects. So what are you doing? And when I say drop these tablets, you're like, oh, these tablets saved me. I'm like, saved you? They were not supposed to save you. They were supposed to save the baby. So if you're intending to take folic acid to protect your baby, that means you're eating very bad diet. You're eating the pizzas. And you'll know how pizza comes to bring problems during this in this condition. So you're feeding on pizza, sugar, all these things, and saying you have the addictions and you have the cravings because the pregnancy is causing you to crave for sugar, which is a lie. You will end up taking the folic acid supplements, and you will take them after the spinal cord has fused. So the side effects will just be prone. Okay, so vitamin B1 is very necessary, and vitamin B9 is very necessary also on this one. So alcohol depletes vitamin B1. Once you've understood that, we can now simply move on swiftly. So for those of you who are joining in now, this is the definitions for convulsions, seizures, epilepsy, and status epilepticus. 1. Convulsions: when seizures lead to shaking, falling, and sometimes hurting yourself. So you're getting these constant seizures that are prolonged, and you end up falling down, making those jerky movements. That is a convulsion. And convulsions are actually classified into grand mals and petit mals. We've talked about that. You can go back. Epilepsy is chronic, recurrent, unprovoked seizures. 1, they have to be chronic over a long period of time. Number 2, they have to be recurrent. And then sometimes they can be unprovoked. They come from nowhere. Whether it's light, whether it's noise, whether it's smell, whether it's trauma, it's not provoked like literally, okay? So it comes from anywhere. Sorry, drop the trauma one there. Now, status epilepticus, I've told you have convulsions that are lasting for more than 5 minutes. Now listen, about 10 years ago, status epilepticus was classified. This is where it gets interesting. So status epilepticus was classified as convulsions that will last 20 to 30 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes. So when you're having convulsions that are lasting 20 to 30 minutes, that is now confirmed to be status epilepticus, and now you have to be forwarded to the hospital for care. And then they reviewed that and they brought that threshold down from 30 minutes all the way to 5 minutes. If you're sharp and you've been here for long, look at it this way. This is the same concept with the cholesterol lie. So we drop the threshold from 30 minutes to 5 minutes. And if you're a sharp student, you know that if I'm dropping the threshold from 30 minutes to 5 minutes, how many more people am I bringing on board? How many more people am I bringing on board? I want that answer from you guys. If the threshold was at 30 minutes, and then we had, let's say, 10 people who hit that threshold. So 10 people were confirmed to have status epilepticus. Now I have dropped that threshold. I've told you now, oh, no. 30 minutes is a long period of time. And by the time these guys are getting to 30 minutes, some of them will be dead. So now I bring that threshold to 5 minutes. So anytime people are having a convulsion that is lasting 5 minutes, they are confirmed to be epilepticus. They are in an emergency. So you tell me, how many people are we going to drag into this status epilepticus state? How many more people? You start seeing what I'm saying. On the cholesterol thing, levels of cholesterol were normal. 240 were very normal. And then, of course, somebody in the big pharma sat down and thought, oh, no way. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, because if I give them atorvastatin, I'll give them 7 other drugs. So that will mean I'll make a lot of money. So what do? Let's sit down. Let's bring this threshold down through our professors of medicine, through our experts. Let's bring this threshold down all the way to 200. So at this moment in time, cholesterol levels of above 200 are now criminal. You are going to get exposure to heart attack. And look at it, how many people were dragged into this cholesterol story from 240 all the way to 200. How many people joined the crew? Now everybody is being written a prescription for cholesterol drugs. And out of that prescription, 7 drugs are coming in to cover the side effects of that one drug. This is the same idea here. Same idea. So they brought the threshold from 30 minutes to 5 minutes. A lot of people were actually dragged into this. Even those who are convulsing were now confirmed to be status epilepticus. And now it has to be a hospital management where more expenses, more drugs, more expensive drugs, more side effects, and then more drugs for the side effects. This is where I get it so annoying in the healthcare system. So now you go there, it is diazepam. After diazepam, it is phenytoin or phenobab injection. After that is another drug, and then now a list of drugs to just take you home. And that's where the problem came in. So as we go through, simply start asking those minor questions, those small questions here and there. Okay, you get to understand where all these issues are coming from. So again, as usual, anytime you're in doubt, you go back to the causes of epilepsy. And one, of course, we said ischemia. So these ones are actually the most simplified ones that you can know. Ischemia means low oxygen levels in the brain. When you have low oxygen levels, convulsions are coming. So what do? Go outside, walk outside, enjoy the sun. That's why I tell you, one of the pillars of healthcare is fresh air. Simply go and connect with nature, walk barefoot, go and enjoy the fresh air from the forests. You need it for your cells, you need it for your brain. You need it to block yourself from getting into seizures and epilepsy. And then to block yourself from getting into the claws of the big pharma. Is epilepsy genetic? They say it is genetic, but I told you genes play 2 to 10% of roles in all diseases. 2 to 10%. And those 2 to 10% roles, the genes, have to be activated by something called epigenetics. Epigenetics, 85% of the things that activate epigenetics are diets. Diets. So if you are sharp, is it genes or is it diets? Answer that question. So ischemia. Ischemia is being brought about by hypoxia, low oxygen in blood. That low oxygen in blood can actually be brought about by hemorrhage. So when you're getting that bleeding during delivery, you can actually get a seizure. When you get that bleeding during an accident, seizures are coming. When you have maybe hemophilia, diseases that are supposed to be naturally healed, like hemophilia, that when you cut yourself, you bleed yourself to death without having these blood clots. That is causing you hemorrhage, that is causing you hypoxia, and then ischemia, and then, yes, the seizures. And then the major category here comes in form of inflammation. Any condition that is happening in the brain and on the spinal cord starts from an inflamed gut. I will never sing this enough. Fix the inflamed gut and see most of these conditions disappearing through the window. These conditions are actually frying the brain. ADHD, depression, epilepsy, all these conditions that are bringing issues to the brain and the central nervous system, the CNS, they start from a messed up gut, because there is a direct relationship between the gut and the CNS, and also the gut and the skin. I wish I could explain that even further. So know that inflammation is coming in. Also in children, nowadays you see children with pot bellies everywhere. Yesterday, a colleague came in, and I hope she gets to watch this live. A colleague came in with a daughter who is about 8 years. This daughter is super obese. The first thing I noticed is a protruding belly. A serious belly in an 8-year-old daughter. And of course, the mother is obese. Short and very obese. And then she comes in, she's complaining. She's actually telling... she's complaining that there are no drugs that can actually handle the allergy in her daughter. So the daughter is having this serious allergy, itching, and she's crying, and her eyes are red. So she's busy looking for drugs that are going to change the allergy in her daughter. And she's actually saying, this hospital does not have drugs that can actually work on this. This is a serious allergy. Serious allergy. Doctor, this is a serious allergy. And this hospital, I don't know, the governor has eaten money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the governor has eaten money, yes. But is this daughter a governor? What are you feeding this daughter of yours? Why are you blaming the governor and you're blaming the hospital system? You see, we always think that the external factors are what are coming in to help us. But your daughter is obese at 8 years old. Look at her, a protruding belly. But you can't say that to her because she'll get emotional about it. She's already emotional that the governor ate money and there are no drugs for her daughter here. I'm looking at this daughter, I'm like, I tried to press the stomach a little bit. It's like it's puffy, bloated. I'm like, hey, what did you eat in the morning? Oh, bread and that blue band with a blue lid. The daughter is very specific with the blue band, with the blue lid, and hey, I'm like, where? Okay. Was the tea full of milk? Yes, it had milk. How about sugar? Yes. Okay. What time is it right now? It's about 11. Okay. And what time did you take tea? At around 8. Have you eaten anything else? No, but mom told me he's going to buy me yogurt in the hospital canteen. I'm like, woo! And the governor has eaten money. Sometimes let's be serious. So of course you expect this. So children are walking with pot bellies, and these pot bellies are actually a sign of liver problems. So these children have fatty livers. And now you expect them to lack these conditions. They will never. They will have all these conditions. And it will be a prescription after another because you're thinking that drugs are coming in to change the kitchen. It's not going to happen. Is it? Which drug is going to give to remove bread from your kitchen? Which drug is going to remove sausages from your refrigerator? Which one? You want drugs to fix your kitchen, and you want drugs to fix allergies. How? Did the drugs, if you don't take drugs, you will have allergies. Now if you take drugs, you get rid of the allergies. No way. Drugs, hey, one day we shall be understood. Anyway, also mineral deficiencies and metabolism issues like glucose metabolism and all that. Okay? So if you're having any of these conditions, if you're poor, you always sit in the house, and these children sit in the house all the time. But unfortunately, people will tell me, you're talking about children, but these children, some of them get this condition from the time they are born. It's not true. At least we know for the children, they can get a seizure after their fevers are going so high. Infantile seizures, that is normal. The temperature is going so high is abnormal, but the temperature is going so high, they can get a seizure. We can manage that. But where did these children get these convulsions from? You think a child starts to feed from air. They feed on what this pregnant woman is eating. So you start destroying your child from the womb. That's why I tell you, when you're intending, thank you, Fatma, when you're intending to get pregnant, start fixing yourself before that pregnancy. Start fixing yourself before getting pregnant, and then continue fixing yourself during the pregnancy. Okay, wamenikujia. Continue fixing yourself during the pregnancy so that you get to raise a healthy pregnancy, a healthy fetus, you give birth naturally, and then you raise a healthy child. There is no shortcut about it. There is no shortcut about it. No iron supplements are coming in for any reason whatsoever. No iron supplements are coming in to change your situation. It's not going to happen. No way. Good. As we do that, let's talk about this. So let's take a break and sink that in. As you sink that in, allow me to advertise my platforms. One, our what are they called? Our physical consultations are starting on the 27th. That is Tuesday. Where is your water, Daktari? Yeah, somebody's bringing me my water. Hey, I was almost, let me just wait for my water before I even do these advertisements. Hey. Abdiaziz is saying, you want drugs to fix allergies for the obese? Who bewitched us? And this is one of the conditions that people think is, my child was bewitched. My child was bewitched. Imagine they don't like me getting children. You know, I got a son for the first time. I've been having all these daughters. And then I got a son. When I got a son, the evil ones felt bad about it. Thank you so much, bro. Yeah, it is. I've been struggling to get a son, and my husband almost left me. And when I got this son, the witches just woke up. And they sprinkled their witches on my son. Now my son is having all these problems. Yeah, okay. They've not left me. They're still fighting me. Imagine I wasn't having a son. Now I have a son, and now the son is having these problems. The only son that I have. The only son that I feed all these sausages. The only son that is always sitting in pizza inns, eating pizza and drinking soda. My only son has been bewitched by who? Hey. Where? At that time you're telling me that story and we're just standing outside the pizza inn and your son is busy. Son is busy swallowing sausages. I'm like, wow, what type of woman are you? Bewitched. You know, my villagers are not resting. And now you take this son to spiritualists. Okay, I want you to go and protect my son. Take half of my salary, protect my son from epilepsy. You come from the witch doctor today, that same day, another convulsion. And the weird part is, you guys never blame witch doctors. You're like, you will actually change the witch doctor. You'll go to another one. So you'll never blame the first one. But you come to me and I tell you, feed your child healthy foods. And then your child loses 1 kg. You're like, Daktari, my son has lost a lot of kgs. Babji has lost a lot of kilos. Hey, Babji. Hey, Babji will die. Babji has lost a lot of kilos. They are thinking, I am not feeding my Babji. Babji wako huyo. Jaden. Jaden has a cough because he lost 1 kg. Jaden has missed pizza. Missed pizza. Give him pizza today. 2 days down the line. Seizure. You're like, you will never blame the pizza, right? Anyway, I have 2 platforms that are running on YouTube. Health and Wellness Sport on YouTube. Thank you so much for subscribing on that platform. We are at 30,400 plus. I appreciate that. Yes, how did I forget Liam? By the way, where did these names come from? Liam, Babji, Jaden. They came the other day, right? So yes, on YouTube I have Health and Wellness Sport. I have also Hose with Dr. Lewis, HAWS with Dr. Lewis. Go there and subscribe. We make this so interesting, okay? We try. I mean, we try. Give us our flowers when we are still here. Okay, so go there and subscribe, and content will come to you. Okay, so go enjoy those content on those platforms. We post their content every single day. We might not do lives every day. We do it at least thrice a week, but there's a lot about health content that is there. Go there with an open mind. Don't go there with emotions. No, open mind. Okay, so subscribe on Health and Wellness Sport, and also Host with Dr. Lewis. Join Telegram. Telegram is a very interesting platform, and they are the first one to get information that I share before you even get it, guys. So go on Telegram, Health and Wellness Sport, subscribe. You will get there the Prince of Zamunda who will actually whip you hard when you bring your emotions there. So yes, join that platform and let's have these conversations there. Also, our physical consultations are starting on 27th, that is next week on Tuesday, all the way to the 6th day of September, sorry. And I am so happy that most of you are already booking for that slot. Might be the busiest ever. Where? Okay, but we are here to serve. We'll do as much as we can to make sure that we don't deny you the time that you want. Can we know the schedule of your lives, doctor? Yes, at 8:30, latest 9. That's when we start our lives, okay? Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So we are breaking on Friday. So our last live will be on Friday. And you know when we break, we burn. We burn it crazily. So yes, on Friday, we're having a live at the same time. 8:30 Kenyan, 8:30 to 9, thereabout. Let me just put it at 9. So 9 p.m. Kenyan time on Friday, we shall have a live. And then we close it, we take a break for 2 weeks, and we'll come back and start again. So go and join those platforms. Health and Wellness Sport on YouTube, Health and Wellness Sport on TikTok, Health and Wellness Sport on Telegram. And then Hose on YouTube again, and Dr. Lewis Mchilo on Telegram, and Lewis Mchilo on Facebook, another interesting platform. Also Lewis Mchilo on Instagram, and then Lewis Mchile on X. Okay? Wewe uongea vitu real. I do, yes. Trust me, it is interesting to be me because I have these real stories that I don't know where they come from, but I've lived that life. I saw it happening, and I just share my experiences when the way I see them. Okay? Eric Juma is asking, are your facts backed by scientific evidence? Eric Juma has decided to pour emotions. Should we whip Eric Juma? Are your facts? Why would you ask if facts are backed by scientific evidence? You actually appreciated that they are facts. How did you know they are facts, Eric Juma? Are you here for the first time? Because we appreciate you being here, but just make sure you subscribe. Don't worry about the scientific evidence, because here we know that scientific evidence and research agrees with whoever is funding them. Okay, so yeah, you can enjoy this content. You can enjoy the comedy part, leave alone the science part. For those who want the science part, for you can actually concentrate on the comedy part, and then whoo, okay, you sleep a happy man. It's a good thing. Okay, yes. So yeah, I think he wanted to fund a research for us. I hope he can actually pump in. Start by a super chat so that we can know if you are serious with the research. You can send us a super chat. Mr. Juma, Eric Juma, send us a super chat so that we can know if you are able to fund our research. Yeah, he's a peer reviewer. He's reviewing our papers. So yeah, let him now at least send a super chat, then we can now talk about that. But you just come here and, you are passing by. I was just passing by. So if I say, yes, they are backed with science. Oh, okay, I was just passing by. And then you go without subscribing. Aye. Identity, Eric Juma. Identity. Cheers though, bro. Good one, okay? Good question. Only that we don't have the answers to that. Now, next. Huh? So for status epilepticus, 1, you start with a diazepam. Dunga ya diazepam alale. Remember, diazepam is a drug that is a sedative, a hypnotic, anxiolytic, so lowers anxiety, lowers your brain function, you start sleeping, gets you into hypnosis. And that's why the drugs in this group of benzodiazepines are actually used by ladies to sedate men so that they can steal from you in a bar. Those ladies along Thika Road, they put the mchele. Mchele is actually part of this group. It's called a benzodiazepine. Mchele is flunitrazepam. Go and look at that name, flunitrazepam, which is rohypnol, okay? So rohypnol is the mchele. Put in alcohol, it is very soluble in alcohol, and then it gets you speaking the truth. You speak your truth, and then you get so sedated, and you're so calm, and the only thing you do is put on that condom, and boom, your house is emptied. Tomorrow in the morning, you're there sobering up after 8 hours of soberness. Now you're like, ha! As you yawn, there's an echo. The house is empty. You did not do what you wanted to do with that lady. At least they put that condom on you, so you did not do anything. You ended up having a house that has been swept off. Everything has been swept off. Even your M-Pesa, and as you wake up, there is still messages coming in of withdrawals. You're like, so my somebody's withdrawing your money in Kariobangi, and you drank in Thika, blend Thika, and now somebody in Kariobangi is doing his thing. So yeah, be very cautious about this, because that's a benzodiazepine, okay? Good. So yeah, we start with the benzodiazepine, then we follow up with phenytoin and phenobarbital injections. These are, because remember, this one is somebody who is in status epilepticus, is convulsing, so there's no way you can give them oral medication because they can't swallow. And then now, if diazepam has failed, and then the phenobarbital and phenytoin has failed, now we move to an anesthetic agent. Imagine an inhalation anesthetic. Imagine you have to be sedated so perfectly and so strongly with an anesthetic agent, as though you're going to the theater. So your convulsions are so powerful that we have to sedate you as though you're going to the theater for a surgery. For you to just sleep, like we clean your system, we actually make sure your system is going low totally, and now you can rest. When you rest, you will wake up being a better person. So this is what is happening. We are not actually suppressing the convulsions as such. We're not actually helping you to come out of the epilepsy and the seizures. We are just sedating you so that you don't overreact. Do you see the reality about it? Sedatives. We are giving you sedatives to cause you hypnosis. So we sedate you, and then we cause you hypnosis, and then anesthesia. We start by sedating you. You feel so drowsy and all that. And then we bring the sleep. You sleep deeply. As though sleep is not enough, we have to induce anesthesia. Now it's like you're going to the surgery, to the theater. So we are only trying to make sure that you don't overreact, you don't jerk, you don't get all these things. And then we relax your brain. But we are not fixing what caused the overreacting brain. You see the problem? So if you don't fix the causes, you will keep on fixing the symptoms. Convulsions and those falling and those jerky movements are actually symptoms of overreacting neurons. And we've said what causes overreacting neurons, and nobody's targeting that. Nobody's telling you, hey, when you recover, simply go and have a fresh air. Stop sitting in an SC office every time. Take some time off the cities. Go to the villages and enjoy fresh air. Nobody's telling you these natural therapies. Nobody's telling you to go and enjoy the sun. Nobody's telling you to drop the alcohol. They will sedate you, you sleep, they cause you anesthesia. When you wake up, you're good. You take about a week, you're back to alcohol, and you come back. Nobody's saying anything. The only thing they'll tell you is, no, there's no problem. It's just in moderation. Alcohol in moderation. Anyway, so drugs for epilepsy, they target 3 things. From our diagram, let me bring it back so that you get to understand clearly. So those drugs, as you're trying to fix problems in those epilepsy problems, let me do it nicely. So those drugs are targeting these 3. The potassium, the chloride, and the sodium. So one, we target to block the influx of sodium. So we have those that block sodium channels. Okay? So now this is where you become a pharmacist. We are blocking the influx of sodium inside the neuron. So they are targeting sodium. They block the sodium channels. And then, because we want this neuron to relax, we pump chlorine in. But we cannot give you chloride to pump it in. What we do is we activate GABA. You remember our GABA? And GABA is the one that opens up the chloride channel so that chlorine flows into the nerve cell. So now we have drugs that activate the neurotransmitter GABA. And this is where the diazepines are. The benzodiazepines are here. They open up channels for chloride so that chlorine flows into the cell, and therefore the cell gets to relax. This is also where the group of drugs that are called barbiturates are. Barbiturates, examples are phenobarbital. Those that end with ton. The most important one in that group is phenobarbital, because you know it. Okay? So these ones activate GABA. We pump chloride in. We neutralize this, and then we cause hyperpolarization and deactivation. Once you cause that deactivation, the nerve relaxes, the seizures disappear. But that is temporary. The third part, which is the most important one, is After enhancing GABA, you're pushing chloride in. Now, this neurotransmitter that is called GABA has to come from somewhere. It is stored in the vesicles. There are things that there are pockets that are called vesicles. So for these vesicles to contract, to release the GABA, the neurotransmitter, they need an element. They need an element called calcium. Calcium causes the contraction of these vesicles and they eject the GABA, the neurotransmitter. Once you release the neurotransmitter, and then now you go back to this system, so that the neurotransmitter now opens up chloride channels, and then this happens. The neutralization happens, okay? So 3 groups of drugs in epilepsy. One are the sodium channel blockers. They block sodium from going into the cell. 2 are those that activate chloride channels. They open up the chloride channels to neutralize the sodium. And these are the ones that activate GABA. Benzodiazepines, barbiturates are also here. There's another one called topiramate. There's another one called lamotrigine. Okay? These are, I don't want to mention the trade name so many times. I want you to know, if you're taking a drug, if you're taking any medicine, on that medicine, there's that bigger name that has an R, the trade name. And then under that name, there's a small name that's the generic name. For example, if you have a pack of Panadol or Panadol Extra, that word Panadol Extra is the trade name. Do not even care about that. That is not the active ingredient. That's the name that is given by the factory. Under it, there is a small name that is called paracetamol. So you'll see each tablet of Panadol Extra contains 500 milligrams of paracetamol. So paracetamol is the active ingredient. But Panadol Extra is not the active ingredient, it's the trade name. The company uses that for its own purposes. So if you use that Panadol Extra, they come for you. But if you use paracetamol, it's universal. So when I'm mentioning lamotrigine, when I'm saying carbamazepine is famously known as Tegretol. When I'm talking about the generic names, I'm talking about carbamazepine, I'm talking about phenobarbital, I'm talking about phenytoin, I'm talking about lamotrigine, I'm talking about a drug that most of the people who have diabetes use to manage their neuropathic pain. So look at it this way. You have diabetes, and one of the causes of epilepsy and the seizures is, olanzapine is an antipsychotic. It's a second generation antipsychotic. It's not an anti-epileptic. No, it's not. Okay, it's an antipsychotic. Now, look at it this way. You have diabetes, which can expose you to seizures. Because remember, we said one of the roles or one of the causes of seizures or convulsions is actually glucose intolerance. So you are unable to metabolize glucose. So you either have high glucose or low glucose. So you have diabetes, you have a chance to get the seizures. And then these sugars, they cause you nerve problems. They destroy the nerves. So double tragedy. And then you cannot feel the pain. And if you feel the pain, the nerves are so sensitive. So you end up having a lot of pain, the neuropathic pain. And then guess what? You're given a drug that is called gabapentin. I know. Or pregabalin. Most of you are given that drug, pregabalin. Some of you are given gabapentin. If you are clean, you will know gabapentin. What does the name gabapentin start with? It starts with GABA. Gabapentin. Did we talk about GABA? Yes, we said GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So that drug called gabapentin can actually help in seizures also. The other one is pregabalin. Pregabalin. These names can actually direct you to the mode of action. So they all activate this GABA and they pump chloride into the nerve, inside the nerve. They neutralize, causing hyperpolarization or deactivation. And now pain disappears. And now seizures disappear. So therefore, some drugs that are used for epilepsy are used for pain also. Pregabalin, the word is pregaba, and then lin. And then gabapentin. Amazing. So if there's a medical student here or a pharmacy student here, you already have the mode of action, you can thank me later through a super chat. Okay? Yay. Now you know the mode of action of these drugs. So you don't even need to cram the drugs. You need to know the concepts, how these drugs are working. Once you know how these drugs are working, you easily know how to reverse them. Okay? Tripling, Zahra. Tripling is amitriptyline. Amitriptyline is an antidepressant. It's not an anticonvulsant. It's an antidepressant. Okay? Yeah, we talked about depression and we mentioned it. And amitriptyline is another one that is abused with people who chew miraa. They abuse it to get sleep. This is also abused by mothers who give their children who bedwet. They feed their children bad diets, they are unable to hold urine, and they urinate in beds, and now they are given amitriptyline. Okay? Amazing. So once you have understood the mode of action, it's easy for you to know. Now, there are just two types of medication. The ones that block the sodium channel and the one that activate the chloride channel. The one that activate the chloride channel are the ones that activate GABA. It's that simple. So we don't want to go into details of this, but I want to know these drugs can actually be used for different actions. One, we've said, some are sedatives like diazepines, some are hypnotics. So those that are sedatives, under high doses, you can end up getting sleep. That is hypnosis. And then you have anxiolytics, they lower anxiety. Okay? Yeah, Keppra is levetiracetam, right? Yes, levetiracetam. Levetiracetam is a drug that is actually used in this, and it's also a GABA modulator. Sodium valproate under GABA. Amazing. So you guys know these things. The only problem is most of you know the trade names. Like Keppra is a trade name. The generic name is levetiracetam. I use Keppra. Ah, amazing. You are in the right place. Epilim. You know trade names, guys. Okay. Kumbe hii topic inawashika. So you are the guys when people run away from. So KMTC so KMTC hawakunikataa kwa ubaya. Hey, okay. Listen. So you guys know these things. My friends, the stigma that is around epilepsy. Imagine somebody falling down, you urinate on yourself, and then people start running away from them from you because they're thinking you are cursed. You are an outcast. You are bewitched. Your mother is actually cursing you because she's thinking, why did God give me such a kid? Yet she's the one who is feeding you bad things. And then everybody is blaming the other. Your father is blaming your mother. Oh, this is in your genes. Our people don't have epilepsy. And your mother is like, no, ours don't also have epilepsy. This must be your genes. So everybody now it breaks families because of one child. And imagine if that child is the firstborn. The excitement that is coming with the bouncing baby boy. Then 2 years down the line, boom, epileptic. Now the child has to take these drugs for a lifetime because of the mistakes that were being done through just simple diets, poor lifestyles. Poor lifestyles. Levodopa and carbidopa, no, those ones are not anti-epileptics. Levodopa and carbidopa, you see just from the word dopa, dopamine. They augment dopamine, so they actually excite. These ones suppress. The levodopas excite because they give you the dopamine. Amazing, right? So where is Eric Juma? Do you think all these things we're getting it from the skies? It is manna that is falling from heaven. Juma, Eric. These boys that like wanking on people's timelines. Yeah. Anyway, we proceed. So we said you move from sedatives to hypnotics to anxiolytics to anti-seizures to loss of memory. So therefore, a side effect of these drugs is actually loss of memory, right? And possibly that's the reason why they think that when you have epilepsy and you're in these drugs, your intellectual ability is actually compromised. So they'll blame the epilepsy, the seizures. They say, oh, your seizures are the reasons why you are intellectually challenged. But we know that they are the drugs that are actually suppressing the CNS and bringing you all these problems. So if the drugs are causing you amnesia, we call it retrograde or selective amnesia. So you selective amnesia. You forget things selectively. And then they blame it on the disease instead of blaming it on the drug. But this is not a disease, it's a condition. There's a difference, okay? And then of course muscle relaxant, they relax the muscles and you feel good about it. And then now anesthesia. So by the time you're getting to anesthetic state, you are ukopabaya. If a seizure lasts 20 minutes, that one is now status epilepticus. We say they reclassified it and put it to 5 minutes. Okay? Yeah. So Adam Osman, a very good question, but you missed a very important part of this live that was talking about status epilepticus. Good. Is there any other question? Hey, don't forget others who are on high doses and still not working, e.g. 400 milligrams of carbamazepine twice a day and phenobarb 60 milligrams nocte and 30 milligrams in the morning. And then we keep alternating with epilim. Thank you so much. This is Bube Agnes. This is a nurse. Somebody said there are a lot of nurses and doctors on this platform. Yes, they will come here, wanachungulia kidogo alafu wanapotea. Wanachungulia kidogo wanapotea. When you come into deeper conversations, doctors don't want to come and have this conversation. They don't. They want to sit back. Yes. So yes, imagine, and I think these chronic conditions are actually a cash cow for the pharmaceutical companies. Because one, you will take home a lot of drugs. A lot of drugs. Number two, you will take home a lot of side effects. Number three, you will take home a lot of drugs that will treat a lot of side effects which were caused by a lot of drugs. Imagine that platform, that chain. That is a circus that needs to end. You're there and the doctor is reading the guidelines, just writing Phenobarb, 30 milligrams. When they calculate your weight is a little high, they add you more drugs. What they don't know is they are giving you drugs that are going to cause you weight gain. Look at people who have psychosis, the antipsychotics. They add you so much weight. And when they add you much weight, they give you more doses of the drug because you're adding weight. So more weight. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah? Epileptic children growing obese. And when you grow obese, what do? We calculate the weight, we calculate the dosage, we add you more drugs. So now you're taking more than 3 tablets of one drug. Imagine you taking 400 milligrams of carbamazepine. And then you added 60 milligrams of phenobarbital. And then you're taking these drugs in the morning and the evening. How consistent can you be? You will even get tired. If people who have diabetes get tired of those drugs, if people who have, on Monday we talked about the urinary tract problems in women. Women cannot take metronidazole for 5 days. They are tired. And now this is a child who has to take these drugs for a lifetime because you've told this child, one, your disease has no known cause. So I don't know what I'm treating as a doctor. It has no known cause. Number two, you went ahead and told them, oh, this is in the genes, this is genetics. So therefore we cannot change your genes. These are genes and you have to live with the genes, right? Number three, that don't worry about the side effects. You will get some dizziness here and there. And if you get some dizziness here and there, you will still be okay. Just take the drugs again. And these children have to work. They have to be independent. They go into heavy machineries. And now they are dozing off. And the machine pulls the tie. And now, boom, fingers are cut. This child does not have a hand now. How will he be independent? Not because of the convulsion, no. It's because of the drugs, the side effects of the drugs. So why don't we focus so much effort on telling these people about nutritional benefits than telling them about drugs that we don't even know the side effects? Most doctors, even pharmacists, don't know the mode of action of these drugs. I can tell you for free. This is a conversation that in the health class, in the pharmacy class, it's not so appealing. It's not so delicious. We don't want it. We want it to go. When you're talking about mode of action of drugs, pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics, we don't want it to make sense. We just want to cram. The child is falling. Let's put him on lamotrigine. Oh, grand mal, let's give him phenobarbital. Oh, phenytoin is causing a cleft palate in children. No problem. We can substitute phenytoin with now epilim. You know very well. Now you have this child who has an enlarged jaw. They look like the problems that are coming with phenytoin, which is a first-line drug in epilepsy in children. Now the cleft palate. This child has a very bad palate, very extended and protruding jaws, and now we have to put them on other drugs to prevent the side effects of that one. Or we just change the drug to another one that acts the same way through activation of GABA. Do you see? Very, very clear correlations with the diabetes one. We just change the drug, but acts the same way. We give you another drug to just mask. That one gave you these symptoms. Oh, that gave you these side effects. No problem. Let's withdraw this. Let's give you another new drug that will give you different side effects, but act the same way. So you're not going to heal. Of course, we started by convincing you and selling you the fear that it is genetic and we don't know what we are treating. It has no known cause. They call it idiopathy. When you walk into a consultation room and your doctor tells you, oh, no, this is no known cause, idiopathic, this is in the genes. That doctor is trying to run away from the reality. Genes play a 2 to 10% roles in health diseases. And one day I'll be vindicated on that one. 2 to 10% roles. Where were the genes 70 years ago? Where were they? They just woke up one day, boom, and now we have genes for epilepsy. And now imagine you have the genes. But if your brother falls here and converses, You are running away. You don't want to skip that urine because you will become epileptic. Look at that. This is the genes. It is in your genes. But you're running away from your brother, convulsing. Hey, nikiruka mkojo ya mtu ambaye ana convulse, I'll get epilepsy. And this is the same genes that you have. You're carrying the same genes, but you're running away from this. Who told you you'll survive? By just running away. These are myths. These are crazy stuff. And they are put in the syllabus and masked so well that you cannot see them until somebody who is inside that system sees it for you and then tells it to you. And when he tells it to you, you're like, you're like Juma Eric. Juma Eric, zero information about health, but he wants me to prove a point to him. Instead of him putting up a live like this, we can have a conversation and talk about it. But Juma Eric, in his wellness, Juma Eric on a health and wellness platform, is this scientifically proven? I'm like, science is in the syllabus, Juma Eric. Science is in the syllabus. And what I'm reading to you is just the syllabus. And I do the comparison so that you can see the sense. But because you're new here, you can't understand the basics of this. Sit back, relax, enjoy the content, and then now ask the questions. And if the only question that comes to you is this peer reviewed? I'm like, what the? What the? Why can't you just put up, at least ask me a question that is related to what I'm saying? Juma Eric, we shall whip you, gentlemen. We shall whip you. And we will ask you to go and report this channel so that they block it so that you survive. Bure. Tutakuwa hapa, we will make the noise, my friend. We will make noise. We will make noise. Let me read this comment for you a little bit here. I suspect Eric is a fellow doctor. He's always questioning and or opposing your statements. Maybe he must call in at the end of this lesson and tell you what and why disagreeing with you. I like that. I don't appreciate somebody saying you're wrong. I don't appreciate that. What I appreciate is a conversation, okay? Because imagine 113 people on YouTube, 223 people on TikTok, and this video will be seen by a lot of people. So you can imagine me just coming from the bush and putting information out here for the sake of the likes. Eric still thinks that we need to get validation from him. I don't need any validation from anybody. That's why we talked about identity. I don't need any validation from anybody. I can sit here with two people, and we've done this before. You know that, guys. I can sit here with two people and speak the whole 2 hours. And then tomorrow somebody will watch that video and say, hey, Daktari, that changed my life. I can sit here alone and sing. And by the way, when I was starting these platforms, I used to say, I'll put up a platform that I'll put all the crazy things that I have and the questions that I have. And then when I get older, I'll come back to that platform and say, hey, okay, I did my job. I did my job. That was my intention. My intention was not that I'm going to change people's lives. No, that was secondary. My first intention was I'm putting out this information so that when I grow old, I come back to look at my YouTube and I'm like, with my 1 like and my 1 view, which is myself. I view and like my videos. I'm like, Daktari, I was crazy. I'm laughing at my own videos and my own jokes. But Eric is that person who will pay a ticket to sit in a comedy show and then is busy, very serious. That guy was not funny. So why did you pay to go into a comedy show? That guy was not funny. Why did you pay? You just laugh, even if it's not funny. Just laugh. I mean, at least this one is free. You can tell me I'm not funny and I'll take it because you're not paid to be here. So we said for you to actually ask us for peer-reviewed papers, start with the super chat, Eric, and then we can have a conversation about that. It is always fine because these people need the information. They don't need arguments, okay? We don't need to argue about health. No. Emotions scandal. We want to come here, have a good conversation, and then when we have that conversation, we can actually do it for the benefit of the masses. If you have a platform that is sharing health information, I don't have to come there and pick one of your videos and start bashing it. No. I have to make my content that is actually explaining why I think this is not right or this is not this. That is simple. So people on my platform will come and view, and then like, okay, amazingly. Then they can compare the notes and see what is happening, okay? But if you come and try to put that negative energy, and yet I go on your profile, there is nothing. Zero health content, zero nothing. You're actually doing TikTok challenges. You're dancing and all that. And then now, that one brings a lot of problems. But again, here we have an identity. Conversations that can actually help. Yes, health talk. We must have conversations that are for the benefit of the client. And these conversations that we bring on client tables, we are arguing who among the MO and the CO is better, who among the pharmacist and farm tech is better, who is good and enrolled and a registered nurse, who is who. All these are useless conversations if at all you're still going back to regurgitate the syllabus. Imagine that. Imagine we are on a CME trying to find solutions of how best to help this patient. And in that CME, there's a nurse carrying a file to be reviewed. And the only thing that she brings on the table is her carrying the files, nothing more. She can't ask a question. If she's told, add the dose of insulin, the next morning she's doing it perfectly. No questions. And she's a nurse. She went to an independent school, to an MO, to a pharmacist. An independent school. But she doesn't have an independent thought. She has to be pushed to think. Oh, you know Doc alisema. Unajua Doc alisema. You know Doc who? Doc who? You're pumping their ego for no good reason, and that is for a selfish interest. We said ego is evil. So you're pumping their ego when you went to an independent school and you can think on your own. Somebody's asking, shall we be given CPD points here? Okay, let me tell you, CPD for us on this platform, CPD means consistency, patience, and discipline. And that is our principle. So thank you so much. So if that is what you want, we will give it, we will serve it to you. Those who have been on my platform for the longest period of time, they know CPD, consistency, patience, and discipline. But if you're thinking CPD is the continuous, you want to renew your license, we don't renew licenses here. So anyway, let me take you through the side effects of this drug so that you can get to understand where we have problems, okay? Number one, side effect, hypotension. And these are side effects that cut across the board. Whether it's epilim chromo, whether it is phenytoin, whether it is phenobarbital. But I'll talk about phenobarbital as a very dangerous drug in children, okay? Even though it's first line, it's a problem. So hypotension lowers blood pressure. Number two, hepatotoxicity, so that destroys the liver. Hey. Number three, depression of the CNS. When you depress the CNS, we are getting zero seizures. Well done. How about other functions of the central nervous system, like respiration? So we'll end up struggling with breathing. Imagine that. So struggling with breathing. Loss of memory. Sometimes coma. Number four, phenytoin is well known for hirsutism. Hirsutism basically means growing hair all over. Ladies, you grow hair even on your chest. So if you are a girl and imagine your girl, a teenager who is taking phenytoin, then she comes out with hair all over her chest, gets the trauma. Not only will she get the trauma for taking drugs for seizures, she'll get the trauma for having hair on her chest. And she can't avoid that because she still has to continue taking the drug. So save these children from this drama. Number five, enlarged jaws and gums. Again, this is for phenytoin. The cleft palate. Looks like, you know the Thafa Lewis, that one. And then enlarged jaws and the gums, very swollen gums. And their mouths are always open. I'm putting it that way so that you get to sink in. This is a very bad side effect. Your child has a very gigantic jaw. Anyway, number six, allergies. Skin allergies and those flashes on the skin. Number seven, double vision. Sometimes nystagmus. So you're seeing somebody unaona mbili mbili. It's like you just walked out of a pub. Hey, 2 by 2. Okay, another one, teratogenic. So these drugs, actually phenytoin is very dangerous, and also lamotrigine, right? They are very dangerous in a baby, that fetus that you're carrying. They can actually cause neuronal tube defects in that baby. So you should be very careful. But I'm not saying that a lady who has epilepsy cannot be pregnant. You deserve a pregnancy, you can raise a healthy pregnancy, but you need to talk to your doctor to start at least lowering the doses or giving you healthy alternatives for these drugs, but insisting most on the dietary modifications and lifestyle changes. Let me tell you the syllabus, how it is designed. The syllabus has to talk about drugs in details. Imagine you talk about phenytoin. You talk about the mode of action of phenytoin. You talk about the pharmacodynamics. Pharmacodynamics means the mode of action, what the drug does to the body, how it works on the body. And then pharmacokinetics. Pharmacokinetics means what the body does to the drug, from absorption to distribution to metabolism to now excretion. All that is called ADME, which is pharmacokinetics. Then from there we have to talk about toxicity. And then from there we have to talk about any other alternatives of these drugs. So imagine how we cover the drugs completely. Yani, we go so deeper into the details of the drug. Turn your neck around and go to the first place of therapy where they say the non-pharmacological management of diseases. So you have epilepsy, you have the pharmacological and non-pharmacological. They start with the non-pharmacological and they tell you dietary modifications. That is it. They don't tell anything about it. So therefore, doctors don't even know the dietary modifications. That's why we cannot blame them. It is the syllabus that conditioned them. So they just say dietary modification and lifestyle changes, period. And then now they go on pharmacological. Now on pharmacological, they talk about every drug in detail. Every drug in detail, including the side effects. So today, I happen to work with a certain intern. Is it an intern? No, it's not an intern. It's a student who is still in KMTC. He's going for the 3rd year. So ask this guy, what do you think is epilepsy? What do you think is a seizure? What is epilepsy? And then the guy starts to sing. It is the, I don't know, the defect in the parenchymal, whatever. I was like, paradoxical what? Continue. I was like, whoa. And they told me, I will join that live. I told him, no, please, do not even join that live. Don't. If you're still singing about the paradoxical and the parenchymal, please, sit back, go cram the syllabus, pour it on that paper for KMTC, let them give you a license. After that, we'll help you and learn. For now, you're full of the syllabus. And imagine that is a student who is going for 3rd year. A diploma student going for 3rd year, full of the syllabus. He's coming out in about a year to start conditioning more people. Now, leave that alone. That one is a student, we can excuse him. He has not unlearned. Now, there are these people who are already in the system. And you ask them about epilepsy, and they cannot summarize in the one that you can understand. What they are telling you is the same thing they read in the syllabus. I wish I could take that book and just read to you the definition of this. But anyway, that's the story for the next time. Hey. You're full of the syllabus, you're full of the ego. And I'm like, wow. So imagine one day you'll come in contact with my video and you'll get so surprised. So I told him, do not attend that live, because that live will not help you as a student. That live is for people who have already completed school, they are here, and they are doing these things. So yeah, for you, endelea kukram, we shall see you. Continue writing the more Kenyas, okay? Good. Other side effects are here. And I told you other uses for these drugs for epilepsy, the pain management and also neuropathic pain in diabetics, right? So yes, but other side effects are here. Mood disorders. Have you ever realized that somebody who is epileptic on this drug, they are very angry? I don't know if it's the anger that comes with taking these drugs or anger that comes with them trying to defend themselves against external aggressors in form of stigma. But they are so emotional, they are so angry. I don't know if it's actually identity or something, but these guys, oh yeah. And then now they end up putting up weight. And you know what weight comes with? Weight comes with its own challenges. Anger and emotions being part of it, because you want people to accept you the way you are, but they don't. You want people to accept you with epilepsy, but these people don't care. The world does not care. Human beings are so evil that everything they do has to be for a selfish interest. They are so evil. And until they die out of their own hell and then come back to live life, they don't have perfect peace. Number 2 is weight gain. Perfect. Number 3 is teratogenicity. We've talked about that in the babies. Number 4, these people don't have sexual urge. So therefore, libido and erection, 0. No erection, no libido, and hormonal imbalances in women. Number 4, mineral and vitamin deficiencies. Which vitamin did you mention? I mentioned 2 vitamins that are actually deficient in these people. Put it in the comment section. 2 vitamins that are very important. I'll add you one, which is vitamin D. Now remember, cholesterol is very important in the survival of these people, because cholesterol actually coats the nerves, the transmission of the nerves. It causes the nerves, so it's an insulator on the nerves. So a diet that is rich in cholesterol is actually very important in these people. But I'm still waiting for those 2 vitamins that we talked about. And then, of course, blood disorders. And this is because of reduced white blood cells, because they cause bone marrow suppression, and they cause you anemia, and they cause you white blood cells, low white blood cell count. We call it leukopenia. Hello? Are we still there? And then we have low bone density. Another one, poor coordination of muscles. And then memory loss, fatigue, and a messed up gut. So when you have a messed up gut, what are you expecting from this? More CNS condition. Thank you, Safi. That's the true answer. Vitamin B1 and vitamin B9. Vitamin B1 is thiamine. Vitamin B9 is folate. Folate is not folic acid. Folic acid is the synthetic form of folate. So when you go to the hospital and they diagnose you with these seizures, and they give you maybe carbamazepine, and then they add you folic acid that you take every day, it's a criminal offense. Why? Because they are giving you synthetic products. Why don't they just tell you to eat the liver in plenty, to eat eggs and egg yolks in plenty, to consume foods that are rich in cholesterol? So therefore shift to the animal fast instead of frying your brain using the seed oils. It's time for you to change that thing, okay? Yes. So this is the order of the drugs according to their toxicity. Number 1 is phenytoin on the list. Toxicity actually in pregnancy. Phenytoin, number 1. Number 2 is valproate, the sodium valproate, which is the most dangerous in other conditions, but in pregnancy it comes as number 2 after phenytoin. Number 3 is carbamazepine. And then number 4 is topiramate. So these are the 4 drugs that are very dangerous in pregnancy. So they have to be reviewed. But of course, reviews are the same. We just review them and you put on a title. That's something else. Anyway, so in pregnancy, if you're trying to manage epilepsy and seizures in pregnancy, first things first, if it's an emergency condition like status epilepticus, rule out eclampsia and preeclampsia. If you're a clinician, if you're a pharmacist, if you're an MO, you're here listening. At least this one we can spare nutritionists until we start the management. Please rule out preeclampsia and eclampsia, because most of you run to take magnesium sulfate to help you treat preeclampsia and eclampsia in pregnancy. And the seizures, forgetting that these seizures can actually be epileptic seizures. And these epileptic seizures are caused by low magnesium or high magnesium. So imagine if they're having high magnesium and they're injecting them with magnesium sulfate. You will kill them as you watch. And then number 2, there is no better medicine for epilepsy in pregnancy. The only thing that is being considered, they are trying to measure the benefits against the odds. So as you say, oh, what is the best drug that I can use in pregnancy? You know, Dr. Lewis, I'm pregnant and I'm using this drug. Which one is the best alternative? I'm not going to give you the best alternative. There's no best alternative when it comes to chronic condition management. The best alternative is in your kitchen. But if you're here already and then you're being managed with these drugs, they choose the drug that has the least side effects in relation to the pregnancy. Okay? And of course, the 4, phenytoin, valproate, carbamazepine, and topiramate, have to be totally considered because they are the most toxic in pregnancy. So epileptic people can still get pregnant, they can carry a healthy pregnancy, and they can get to the end. And then give birth naturally, and then now raise healthy babies. But for that to happen, they must prepare for the pregnancy. Now, I also understand in pregnancy, most anti-seizure drugs, they lower vitamin B9. That's why we have vitamin B9 deficiency. So they deplete folate. That's why you're given folic acid. But folic acid is a synthetic product. I'm repeating this over and over so that it sinks in you. Natural folic acid is in beans, which is folate, is in red meat, is in the liver, is in the egg yolks, is in seafoods. Eat those in plenty when you have these conditions. It's criminal for anybody who has seizures, who has epilepsy, who is on drugs for epilepsy, to consume wheat products, to consume seed oils, to consume sugar in all forms, including those fruits that you keep on defending. It is a criminal offense for you to feed what is causing you problems. And these problems, I'm seeing them from the causes of the seizures and convulsions. So why don't you sacrifice those things and see? Just take a second and sacrifice them and sit back and see what is going to happen. Just take some time. Just get at least 2 months or so of wheat, of sugar in all forms, of pasteurized milk or any type of milk, of seed oils. Use saturated fats. And then take yourself on 1 meal a day. If it's a child, feed the child when they are hungry. Do not overfeed them. Don't give them food just because you want to satisfy your ego or because there's food in the refrigerator. At least fill that refrigerator with something else. Fill it with meat. Fill it with green leafy vegetables, the liver, the kidneys and organ meat, the eggs. Put there butter instead of margarine. Put there ginger, garlic, turmeric, cinnamon, chili peppers, all these natural and organic spices instead of putting there those cubes, those masalas that you buy in the supermarket. Change these things a little bit here and there. Just change it and then tell me about it. Let that child lose weight. And don't impart your identity on the child. Don't impart your bad eating habits on this child. You're eating 5 meals a day and then you push your child to eat 5 meals a day. This child sometimes eats because you just slapped them because they are not eating. And then you went to the pharmacy and bought multivitamin syrup. You've soaked them in. You want them to get appetite by force or fire. Please, retract from that. It's not necessary. An epileptic child, the least they can do is to change their diet. That's the least they can do. Before we even think about medications, of course, the condition is here and we have to take medication to actually help us manage the condition. However, the long-term effect of these drugs is more problems. But the long-term effect of diets and lifestyle changes is withdrawal of those drugs from the prescription of this child. Imagine that. Imagine the pressure that you will put this child on of taking these drugs for a lifetime. And they keep on adding drugs and changing drugs. And guess what? Pharmaceutical companies will come out with all this research revolving around epilepsy. And the beauty about them is they will still bring you a new drug with the same mode of action. A new drug, of course, very expensive. They will lie to you that it has limited side effects, but the mode of action is the same. So if you're bright, who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Every time you're in hospital, imagine taking drugs for 3 months, giving your child to take them consistently for 3 months. These girls and boys are adding weight. We don't know where this weight is coming from. And you can see that epileptic guy in your area is super obese and looks like a zombie because of what drugs have done to them. Yes, 30,000 per month for treatment. Imagine. This is for drugs only. We've not done the review. We've not done the ECG. We've not done the... Imagine. So it's always a new drug after a new drug. But you see, I've already told you the mode of action is the same. Just going back and forth, back and forth. And you see, there's a time when you get to the seizures that are so bad, you will be even be given propofol. Propofol is an anesthetic agent. The one that killed that guy. That dancer of yours, that musician from America. Propofol. Overdose of propofol. It's a drug to suppress seizures, but it's an anesthetic agent. So imagine you've done all these drugs. They've sedated you. You've gone beyond that. They've taken you into hypnosis. You've slept enough. It is not enough. They've taken you into now. Yeah. They've lost you memory. It's not enough. And now they have to put you on medication for somebody who is preparing to go to theater. Okay. The best medication is in the kitchen. I will sing this until it sinks into you. The best medication is in the kitchen. And if you just drop those 3 inflammatory foods and give your brain a chance to rejuvenate, if you're an adult, there's no need. If you're epileptic, you're still eating 2-3 meals a day. Why? Go on 1 meal a day in the evening. Just 1 meal a day. Sometimes you can do complex carbohydrates in that meal. Sometimes do without complex carbohydrates. They are non-essential totally. Go on the fatty meats. Go on the saturated fats, the animal fats to cook your meals. Drop the wheat, drop the sugar, drop the rice. Some of you people eat rice every single day. And you know very well, rice has no nutritional benefit. Exercise, walk barefoot, go and enjoy nature, enjoy fresh air, enjoy the sun. Gone are those days, and I don't know what happened to life. Days when mothers used to have these babies, and they wash them at around 10 a.m. in the morning, and then they're washing them in a basin that has some warm water, and then they put them on their laps with their back facing, the spine facing the sun, and they are massaging their legs with this non-scented petroleum jelly, and they are massaging their backs as the child enjoys the sun. And then they breastfeed the child, and then take the child back on the laps, and then now children are born already on that grip water, which is sugar. Read the ingredients on grip water. Oh, it's colic. This one is going to relieve colic. But the reality is that is sugar. Most drugs for children have sugars. A simple concept like just rocking the child a little bit, rocking the child and then rubbing their back for them to burp to release the air, and then colic disappears. That is tricky now. Now we have to be so civilized to take sugar for that. Now our children are always in the house. Nowadays it's a cold season. So children are always in the house with a remote. Anytime you're in the house, you're sanitizing the tables with Dettol everywhere. So your child does not even have an active immunity. These children are eating all the time. Eating. They play video games, they eat. They play video games, they eat. They look at you as being fat and they admire you being fat. They want to be fat like you. They are eating 5 meals like you. They are snacking in between. They are asking for chocolates. In the supermarkets, they are so chaotic, just picking the snacks here and there. They even have favorite snacks. They even have favorite spices. They even have favorite yogurts and the biscuits. And on a birthday, you are putting all this bash that has all these processed foods. In your car, you can't lack chocolates. You're busy shopping for 20 liters of a seed oil. And that seed oil is, the maid fries things until, hey, mafuta inafanya tu hivi. When you pick meat from that seed oil, it is drilling water, the oil. And then you are the person who went to the butchery to tell the butcherman, please do not give me the fatty meat. Why? The irony. And then after eating that meat that has been dipped in seed oils, you're there, busy drinking warm water so that it can dissolve the fat. And your child grows into that. Now hormonal imbalances are there. Now glucose problems are there. Now liver problems are coming in. Now the child is frying their brains. And now IQ goes down. Now all these inflammatory conditions of the brain are coming in. Seizures being part of it. And now guess what? The system does not tell you to change what you've been doing that caused the problem. They give you more drugs. Therefore, more side effects. So your child is a slave from day one to death. Started with drip water. Actually started with a CS. Now he's on epileptic drugs for a lifetime. Yet the doctor does not know the cause. But you come to me, I help you fix your kitchen, the child gets better, and the doctor, you go back to the doctor, and then the doctor tells you, okay, can we add one more drug? We are doing fine now, can we add one last drug? You're like, it's the first time I've not seen a seizure in my child for the last 5 months. Why would we add a new drug, daktari? No, you know this one can actually, they can just suppress and then come back. When they come back, they can be dangerous. So yes, you need to take that drug. Daktari, Mr. Neurologist. You can do better. You can do better. Good. So when these children have 0 seizures for about 6 months all the way to about 2 years, it's now time for us to withdraw the drugs. Why are we doing that? Because you cannot just withdraw these drugs once. Remember, the system is used to this drug. Actually, for those of you who have used them for the longest period of time, your system is actually used to these drugs. So you cannot just stop them once. You need to taper them down in a slow and steady way. And once you taper them down and no seizure is coming in, we keep tapering them down and then we wheel them off slowly. And then the kitchen becomes so clear and becomes your savior for a lifetime. Because our aim here is to help you ease pain and suffering from that prescription. Those medications, the more the drugs on that prescription, the more the pain and the more the suffering. Okay? So the more the drugs, if you see just a prescription with more than 4 drugs, it's time for you to actually start thinking twice. Now, let me read through the misconceptions around this. And I know these are the misconceptions that most of you have seen and have gone through. 1, that they tell you epilepsy is a very rare condition and is in the genes. Right now, if you see the world population, 50 million people are actually suffering from these convulsions and epilepsy. 50 million. And the figure keeps on going up. Why? Because we keep on feeding the same things. We keep on, more industries are coming out that make processed foods, that make MSG. So now, let me take you just back a little bit, okay? Let me just take you back and enjoy your story. Look, there are two groups of neurotransmitters. We have the excitatory, those ones that excite the system, that pump sodium in, right? And then we have the inhibitory ones, those ones that actually block the sodium, the ones that are actually the GABA, okay? The ones that block the sodium, they pump in chloride so that the CNS is suppressed. But the excitatory ones, the ones that excite the system, they excite. Two of them, which are excitatory. Number one is glutamate. Number two is aspartate. Those are the excitatory ones. Mark those two things, glutamate and aspartate. Those are excitatory. On the other side, which is inhibitory, we have the GABA, we've talked about it, and then we have the glycine. Leave alone the ones that inhibit, the ones that actually help you recover from the seizures. Let's go to the one that actually cause you seizures by exciting, glutamate. Now, please, you've been here for quite a long time. Please mention one food that you know has MSG, monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate, MSG. I have mentioned it every single time. So please, it's your time now to tell me which foods have MSG. I'm taking a break as I listen to you. Let me read through the comments. So, hey, you can never be so right. Yes, those cubes. Those cubes. So imagine if you're having epilepsy, your child is having convulsions. What are the worst foods that you can give this child? Tomato paste. Thank you so much, Safi. You mentioned it. Sausages. Mickey, you got it. and I want to, as you mentioned those, sit back and just see if your child is eating these things. Sit back and see. Pizza. Correct. Hey. So you guys know already. So you guys know already what we are causing, what problems we are causing our people, our children. So, yeah. So you will meet a mother who has actually bought all these things and stocked in a refrigerator. And of course, you expect them to not have a mini pharmacy in their house. They will have all the mini pharmacies in their houses. Now listen to this. All fast foods come with MSG. MSG is monosodium glutamate. This is the flavorant that actually masks the taste buds of your children and you. And when they mask the taste buds, you can not taste food in the natural states. It fools you that this food is sweet. That's why you keep on going back to that junk food joint. You keep on going back because you are so full that chicken is so good. It tastes so crunchy. It is so good. That is MSG. It fries your child's brains, causing you this. It produces the glutamine, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter, an excitatory neurotransmitter. And what we need in seizures and epilepsy is to suppress the excitation of the central nervous system. But you have now a drug that is actually supplementing the excitation problems. So listen to the foods that have these things. One, most of the seasoning blends. All those things that you use for seasoning. Two, every food that has been frozen. Number three, most of the soups that you buy and most of the soups that are in the restaurants, MSG. Number four, every single processed meat, be it bacon, be it sausages, be it smokies, they have it. Number five, noodles. Yeah? There is one substance that is like a cheap meat. It's processed and now you use it as meat. I don't know if you know the name. You know that meat that is packaged and sold at 30 shillings, 30 Kenya shillings, I think 30 or 50 nowadays. Yes, Extin, that is Christy. You know it. Yes, that one. Those things. The noodles that are coming from the same company that makes seed oils in Thika. Chips and snack foods. When you add on that tomato paste, yes, Alawia. When you add on that tomato paste or that tomato sauce, that is MSG. This is so interesting. And we are, yes, potato crisps. They have it. Yeah. When sometimes you look at these things, you just wonder. And those canned meats, canned beans, canned all those things, canned sardines. People from America, canned sardines. Do not eat canned omena. Don't feed your children the noodles. The crisps, potato crisps. Hey, the products are so many. Frozen vegetables. There are things that are called, hey, please read the ingredients. Even MSG seasoning is there, just MSG seasoning. Some of the cheese are actually put in, they add in MSG for flavor. And this is so crazy, man. This is just crazy. There was a product back then when I was in school. It was called Aromat. Do you remember Aromat? You guys, do you remember Aromat? We used to put that thing in Githeri and gee. Yeah, what are you saying? Eh? Actually, I remember the advertisement was Githeri does not taste so sweet without Aromat. And then we went and bought that thing and used it in high school. My friend, the gastritis and the ulcers that were in that high school, and we kept on blaming the Githeri. And now we wanted special food. Now you're given special food and you still use the Aromat. And this gastritis is not going anywhere. Do you remember that thing, you guys? Yeah. Hey. And then boom, it was banned. And nobody asked questions. Banned and disappeared. Oh, we still use it in SA. In Kenya, I think it was banned. That thing was awesome. Little did I know that the gastritis that I'm suffering from, problems. So, anything that has MSG is not fit for consumption. Read the ingredients. Monosodium glutamate. Sometimes they say glutamate monosode. I don't know if the French pronounce it that way. And sometimes they use codes. If you see just a product that has more codes, run. We still use it in Germany. Imagine. And you're wondering why there's so much ADHD in these European countries. Why there's so much depression. Why there's so much these weird conditions. Children drooling. And then they're taken to special schools where they are given more of the Aromat. Hey, man. Anyway, it's time for us to call it a night. Unless there's somebody who wants a conversation with us here. Unless there's somebody who wants it here. Man, I'm so excited to have this conversation. I'm so glad that finally I've put this conversation at bed. But let me do this. Let me finish this. Fortified foods, yes. Wheat, drop wheat in all forms. Whether brown, yellow, purple, or whatever, it is wheat. So listen, the misconceptions. One, that it's a rare disease, and I've told you 50 million people already epileptic. Number two, that seizures end up in convulsions. We already defined the seizures and the convulsions, the difference. So not all seizures end up in convulsions. Remember, seizures are classified into two. We have the grand mal, which occupies the whole part of the brain, so that one can lead you into convulsions. And then we have the petit mal, which occupies maybe a frontal lobe or occipital lobe or any place, but it has to be a specific place. So that one will not end up in convulsions. There are people who suffer seizures without knowing. You are seated in an office and then boom, you just bang your table. And then after 1 minute, you're back, but you've lost touch with reality. That is a seizure. It's called the petit mal. The others will just bite their tongue or just shake their mouth, the lips, and then they're back. There are others who will take something and hit themselves for about a minute and then they relax. They're back. That is a petit mal. The other one that you fall and urinate and you have the jerky movement, that is on the grand mal. And then number three, that epilepsy is contagious. It is not. It is not contagious and it is not irreversible. You can actually get out of this condition. And on that note, don't let them lie to you that as you grow older, your seizures will disappear. Just like asthma, it's a lie. As you grow older, you actually continue eating very unhealthy food. So your seizures will they will actually come out so badly. So you'd rather go and seek medical attention or you start fixing the kitchen as you seek medical attention, okay? Baseline is medical attention comes in secondary to healthy living. Another one is that epilepsy and the seizures can actually impair your learning or impair your IQ or cause you intellectual disability. Some truth in that, but the truth comes in with the side effects of the drugs, not the disease. The side effects of the drugs, okay? Unless you're getting these seizures recurrently when you're still in class. Number 5, or whatever number it is, that epilepsy is a mental health illness. It is not. It's a CNS condition, but it's not a mental health illness. Do not allow them to sell to you the idea that you are already having mental health illness and now they have to make a work for you. You saw that celeb doing a mental health work for men? Do not allow them to do that for you. They are there to seek the funds. Okay? And then another one, or the last one, that epilepsy is witchcraft. It is not. It's not witchcraft. Unless you're bewitching your kitchen. It is not it's not witchcraft. It's a condition that is strictly coming from the diets, coming from metabolic conditions, coming from trauma, coming from hypoxia and ischemia, coming from drugs and substance abuse. All that, okay? So fix the causes. Do not fix the symptoms. Do not start blaming external things. Okay? Don't start creating excuses and playing the victim. Understand that this is your position, accept it, and then start fixing it. And then the last one, of course, skipping urine that has been urinated by somebody who has a convulsion will cause you epilepsy. You can skip as many urine from convulsing people as possible. You can do it over and over. Skip and come back. Skip and come back. And nothing will happen. You actually need to pay attention to these children or these people. You actually need to help them, support them, not be there saying these things that, yo, I don't know. That when they spit on you, yes, when they spit on you, you'll get the you'll now get it from them. No, you're supposed to be there to help them, to actually protect them from biting their tongues and all that. But as you do that, when they recover, help them fix their kitchen. That's the most important part. Help them lead a healthy life. There is no problem with somebody who is epileptic having a fast. You can start slow and initiate it and then graduate it or grow into it gradually. Okay? You will change their lives for the better. It is doable. It has been done. And I can bear you witness because I have a sister who had this condition. It is reversible and you will never have to take drugs for a lifetime. Nobody was designed to take drugs for a lifetime. Okay? So thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for attending. I hope I have done you justice, and on this one I have put it to rest. So this question that, hey, Daktari, can you talk about epilepsy and seizures? Can you talk about this? I've already talked about it. It's now time for you to go and look for it and start doing these things. Okay? Good. So let me see if I can have a conversation with one or two, then we call it a night. Maybe a conversation with one or two, just two people. I'm seeing three people here, so I'm going to have a conversation with Msomso, Chalo, and then Sumaya, and then we call it a night. Okay? So tomorrow we are taking a break, and then we'll come back on Friday. Friday we'll have our last live. We break for our physical consultation in Nairobi that are starting on the 27th. That is the next week on Tuesday. They will last all the way to the 6th. So please forward those people to us. Let us have conversation with them and let us change their lives for the better. Okay? You can use the contact that I pin on my platforms every single day, 0707 and then 074722. Those of you who keep on skipping this contact and you want to call me through my direct contact, you're wasting time. Use this contact to book your appointments. Don't allow me to do a live here for 2 hours and then again you look for me through my personal contact and you want me to help you. It's not going to happen. Let's respect each other's space, okay? I have a lot of things to do and I do them diligently. And when I'm seated here to give you attention, I give you maximum attention. So at least give me the attention. Okay, actually pay for the time that I'm giving you. So that contact, 0707074722, that is my contact, the office contact. Use it to book your physical appointments and your online appointments. Also use that to order for our merchandise, the fermented cabbage, the coffee, and the talo. Atidok, is that milk you're sipping? Whoa, lo, lo, lo. Milk! Even fermented milk is a story. This is water, bro. Water. Water. Zamunda is water. Good. So let me just bring in these three guys and then we call it a night. We start with Musomso. Yes, Musomso.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Doc.
Yes, talk to us.
Thank you. Today we've learned a lot.
Yeah, today I know you've become doctors. Today I decided to go deeper into it.
For sure we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I have answers for what I wanted to ask.
Okay.
But let me just go ahead.
Okay.
My nephew
Mm.
he got a conversion immediately he was born.
Okay.
Maybe after 12 hours or so.
Okay.
So the doctor said the conversion was caused because the mother didn't have breast milk.
Okay.
So the baby was, I think, hungry. Then the fevers went up and he converted.
Yeah.
So after he was given glucose,
Mm-hmm.
he was okay. But now when it came to milestones,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't talk when he was supposed to talk.
Yes.
Then when it came to time for going to school, also he can't read even now. He's 13 years.
Mm.
So at around 10 years,
Yeah.
he had conversions,
Mm-hmm.
recurring conversion. Like after a month, there's a conversion. It
So
went on for like 6. Yes.
I'm told if you're on earphones, you should remove them because there's an echo coming from your side.
No, I'm not on earphones.
Then what is the problem with the echo? I don't know.
Hmm?
Okay, just continue.
Okay, I'm saying at 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
he had conversions,
Okay.
recurring conversions.
Mm.
Then he was sent to Mazari Hospital
Okay.
for an X-ray of the head.
Yeah.
No, after the X-ray,
Mm-hmm.
I have the report. I don't know whether I can read it for you.
You want to read a report on live?
No, just I don't know what the indication.
Okay.
They said abnormal indication
Mm-hmm.
of generalized seizures.
Generalized seizures.
Yes.
Do you know what generalized seizures are? Do you remember me talking about the grand mal?
Yeah, yes.
That is the generalized seizures.
Okay.
Continue.
So he was put on carbamazepine,
Carbamazepine, yeah?
200 grams.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a tablet every day before he sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's 3 years and he still uses them.
Okay. Is there a seizure?
So no, since he was given the medication, he hasn't experienced another one.
Okay, what does the doctor say? Have you done another EEG to just ascertain how brain function is and then we start withdrawing the drugs?
No, when my sister took him back, he was told to continue. She was told to continue with the medication.
Okay, and my question is, okay, now that
Yes,
now
yes.
that we have not seen a seizure and he's still on medication, what has your sister done differently? Because listen, the reason why
Yes.
we had your sister lacking breast milk is because she was eating very unhealthy foods during and before the pregnancy. So what has she done different about her diets?
Unfortunately, now the boy went to a special school.
Ooh, okay.
And now, in schools, they don't control diet.
Yeah, I know that. But
So he's just taking the seed oils and all the bad food.
hey. So now you have the information.
Yes.
Why don't you refer this information to your sister and just let her change literally a lot of things in her diet before the child?
Okay.
Why don't you start with your sister? Because thank you, Selo.
Yes.
We start with your sister, we fix her. Once we fix her, the child can get fixed through her.
Yes.
Why don't you preach this gospel to her and be intentional about it? Because she doesn't understand it, and she thinks that taking that child in a special school is the best thing that she has ever done, because she has eased the burden.
Yes.
But the reality is, the burden is still in her kitchen. Let her just fix the kitchen first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, so let's start from there, and then we can grow into it slowly and carefully. But let's start by fixing the adult. The child will adapt to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, good, good. Thank you so much, Muso. Amazing there. It's amazing. Listen, guys, don't take the fixed gut thing lightly. Don't. Please don't. If you do, my friend, hiyo kazi unafanya, the job that you're doing right now, we will eat that money. I can assure you, we will eat that money. Yeah, before that doctor dies, he will eat that money. Okay. Sumaya.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Talk to us.
I'm fine.
Hmm.
I had this condition for now 20 years now.
Which condition?
Epileptic. I'm epileptic.
No, don't say I am epileptic. Say I was diagnosed with epilepsy.
Yeah, that one now.
You
So,
never
it's,
identify with the disease. Never identify with the disease. Because once you identify with the disease, you've lacked an
Okay.
identity totally. You cannot fight it.
Yeah, okay. And then I was given Snubab and the carbamazepine.
Mm.
And then for those 20 years, before 2012, I was taken to Aga Khan. I was given a certain drug, but I don't know the name. I don't remember the name.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used the carbamazepine and Tenaba for long, so that drug I don't know, I had convulsions, so my dad told me just to drop it and continue
Okay.
the previous one. Then 2024, I convulsed again when I was pregnant.
Mm.
And then the doctor told me what drugs are you using. Then I told him I use Tenaba and
There's a lot of
Then
echo
he
from your
said,
side. There's a lot of echo from your side. Are you watching TV at the same time talking?
No, YouTube only.
Okay,
I
continue.
know YouTube in this one. So I was told Sustainable and carbamazepine has a lot of effects, so change into Kepra.
Sumaya, please turn off the
Yes.
TV or the YouTube that you're listening. Turn off the TV, or you can actually pause.
I don't use YouTube. I don't use YouTube.
But I can easily hear myself from an echo from your side, and we can actually hear you talking from an echo.
Wait. And now?
Continue talking now.
Is it on now? Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yes, so I was told when 2024 I delivered my baby, but during the pregnancy I got the convulsions. Now after delivery, that physician told me that the phenobab and the carbamazepine that you are using has a lot of effects, so change into Kepra.
Mm.
So after changing into Kepra for just 5 or 6 days, it has a lot of effect. My head in a spin, in a kimbia. I don't know. I don't get sleep. So now then the problems are there still.
Make it shorter for us. How would you want us to help?
So you could change into Kepra, and so I returned to my medicine. I would tell me, should I continue with Kepra because Kepra nilishindwa. So
But you see
I came back to
you see that has to be a
my
conversation between you and your doctor, because you see the problem is your doctor is just changing one drug to another which has the same mode of action. Because if you've been here for the longest time on this live, you've realized that the drugs have the same mode of action. So you just change the drug and you change the mode of action and then you change the side effects. So if you're thinking about drugs coming in handy for you, it is a waste of our time and your time also. Because the reality is, yes, for now you'll have to be on medication. But the drugs that you're supposed to be used are supposed to be analyzed by whoever is giving those drugs to you. And then you combine that with that. For example, let me ask you, how much is your weight right now?
right now I'm 88.
You can imagine that. So imagine at 88 kgs as a woman. And every single day I insist women should weigh below 70 kgs. At 88 kgs, and then somebody who has been diagnosed with seizures, it shall get worse for you because those drugs will actually cause you more weight gain. So your intention or your target right now should be how you should lose that weight to get into a healthy weight, and then
Yeah,
how
I'm
you should fix
using
the
right
kitchen.
now. Yeah, I'm in the process.
Okay?
Yeah, I've done that. The process, like I'm in the process of
What have you done
losing the
different?
weight.
What have you done differently in your kitchen?
I'm using tallow. I'm taking promo proteins, and I fast.
For how long now?
Since January, not January, sorry, since June, July mid,
Okay.
and now we'll continue.
Amazing.
I was 106 actually,
Yes.
and now I'm 88.
Amazing. You are on the right journey. Now listen, don't focus so much on how the drugs will change your life because that is you going to live in the future. Live now. Accept that this position is here and I'm glad that you're already there. So now start fixing from there. As you're losing the weight, you're going to improve slowly but carefully. Okay? So now the only thing you need to do is to maintain the consistency. You don't have to change drugs. That today you're on these drugs, tomorrow you're on another drug. At least talk to your doctor to be consistent with the drugs. And then as you do that, you keep on fixing yourself. You keep on fasting. And actually, I wish you can push a prolonged fast. And then as you do that,
Yeah, for 72, 48, around it.
yeah, you can do that. You can do a 48-hour fast every after 2 weeks and then a 72-hour fast once in a month. Once you do that, your body starts to pick up. And then as you lose the weight, you burn the fat, you burn the toxins, you start recovering. As you fast, you start producing the BDNF, your brain starts to rejuvenate, and your nerves start rejuvenating. As you eat the fatty meats, you start getting the cholesterol that is going to help you in repair of the nerves and the brain. And then you get better with time. So be patient, be consistent, and be disciplined. It's that simple, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're welcome. She sounds honest, right? She sounds very honest, though. And I wish she can actually just push harder. You know, most of the times people do these things once and then they give up. They do today, they give up tomorrow, and then they start again. Once they get the seizure, they reset to factory settings. Most people fail on the consistency aspect. The consistency is not easy. And that's why I tell you guys to join my Telegram group, because that group will help you get the consistency. Huko hakuna mchezo. You will post that you're fasting and run and still eat. But when people are posting their results there, it will motivate you. It will actually change your mindset totally. So go on Telegram and Health and Wellness Sport and subscribe to that platform. Just enjoy the content. It's free. Yes, is it Mitris?
Doc,
Yes, how are you?
fine, thank you. So I came late to your live and I bumped your page recently,
Okay.
and I've been torn apart. I've been torn about using whey protein.
Okay.
Recently, I've been cutting sugar in my diet for weight loss. But for the longest time, I've been using whey protein to be able to feel my goal.
What is your goal?
My goal is to reach at 80 kgs.
To reach?
80 kgs.
How many kgs are you?
Currently, I'm at 116 from 187.
So why would you use whey protein when you're trying to lose weight?
I was told if you cannot manage to get enough proteins, it's another way to reach your protein goal. using it. So
If you cannot get enough protein for what? For what reason?
since you're cutting the carbs and the starch,
So
you're
so
using protein alone.
so you want to tell us you cannot afford meat? You want to tell us you cannot afford eggs?
No, you can.
No, I'm not saying me, I'm saying you.
Yes, I can.
But you
I
can.
think that's why I'm asking, because maybe I got the wrong advice, because also since I'm working out, it's good for muscle repair,
So who told you that?
and my gym instructor.
Guys, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. At least I'm being vindicated by somebody who has suffered in the hands of gym instructors. Now, tell us more. What else do you eat in the gym? Do you eat bananas in the gym to get energy to lift?
No, I don't choose fruit. I cut fruits.
Mm.
So the only fruit I've been using is anything to do with berries and avocado.
Okay, so your target is to lose weight, but you want to feed on protein because you're cutting down the carbs. What are your carbs now?
Okay?
What are your carbohydrate sources now?
Once in a while, I use sweet potato or arrowroots.
And what are your protein sources apart from the whey protein?
I alternate chicken and fish mixed with mushrooms
Is your gym instructor fat?
and boiled eggs.
So use boiled eggs and mushrooms and
Chicken, but I alternate them. If today I have chicken with vegetables, tomorrow maybe I'll have mushroom with vegetables. The other day I'll have fish with vegetables.
okay. So what time do you take the protein shake? What time do you take the whey protein?
Around 6 p.m.
When you
the last thing when I
Okay.
go to bed,
And what time do you train?
because my first meal is at 1 p.m.
And what time do you train?
I train from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Okay. Every day?
depending with the exercise we are doing. Yeah, we alternative. 2 days we go to the gym, 2 days we go for road work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And did you have protein deficiencies that needed protein supplements like whey protein?
No.
Ha-
Okay, I don't know about that.
Okay.
All I know, I had a bad eating habit.
Okay. Have you read the ingredients of whey protein, the tin? Did you buy the bigger one, the black one?
The whey protein isolate with vanilla flavor, but recently I find it too sweet.
But you're cutting on sugar, right?
Yes. Now I wanted to know, will it affect my weight loss journey, or it's okay to just continue?
Drop that thing. Drop that thing. And I hope he's not the one who sold you that thing.
No. He just recommended it and I bought it from Healthy.
Hey, people suffer in the hands of gym instructors. Listen, you are you're a very honest person. And yes, there's need for us to help you. But the reality is this. You cannot drop sugar to eat sugar. It's not making sense. And then you cannot drop the carbohydrates and then head to eat synthetic protein. Whey protein is coming from the factory. It's not coming from the cow. It's not coming from fish. Go and eat natural food. Go and eat fish, sardines, chicken, and prefer organic chicken plus the skin. Eat those mushrooms. Eat organ meats like the liver. What you need is healthy protein for muscle repair. You don't need to take a gym supplement to become just like your gym instructor. Run away from that myth. That gym thing has soy. It has sugar in form of fructose. It is a synthetic product. It's going to hurt your kidneys. So you please drop it. Go eat natural meats. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Drop it, and I hope you can drag your gym instructor here one day so that we can have this conversation with him, so that we can whip him hard. Because these are the guys who actually mess people up. Imagine that whole can cost about 8,000 shillings. How much meat is that? How much eggs are those? How many eggs are those? So you're wasting yourself by thinking that you, and again, you see, you've shown him that you have the need inside you and the desperation inside you. So he's actually capitalizing on your desperation. Do not buy that nonsense. Do not eat any processed foods. Go and change your cooking oil. Eat healthy meats and use healthy fast to cook your meals. And then fast. What you need to lose weight and then tone muscles is exercise and eating healthy and then fasting and rest. So fast. Do basically 1 or 2 meals a day at maximum. Fast at noon, the other one in the evening. Train in the morning, well done. Go for that road, but at least make sure you train today, you rest tomorrow. The next day you go for a road work, you rest, and then you train again. So you can do about 2 to 3 days of lifting, and then basically about 2 or 1 day of running. That is enough. The rest of the days, rest, because you gain more from the gym when you're resting than when you're training. Take some rest so that you don't raise your cortisol levels. Drop any synthetic product. Don't let your gym instructor go into your head. Find your own identity so that you can actually shun this nonsense that are coming from him. Apart from that, keep watching my content, and above all, do your own research. And any product that goes through your mouth, make sure you read the instructions, read the ingredients. Do not just pop things in because I was told. Do something about it. Read, understand, know the benefits, know the harms of these things. And then join my platforms. You'll learn a lot of things.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming through. All right, guys, it's time for us to call it a night. Thank you so much for each and every one of you who have sat here all these times to listen to us. We bless you. We hope that you can actually come forth and have a conversation with us during those physical consultations. Remember, our YouTube channel is Health and Wellness Sport. Go there and subscribe. Please go there and subscribe to boost our views, to boost our outreach. We are not here to reach you alone. Don't be selfish. You've gotten this information for free. Go and change other people's lives by sending them our way. Let them consult with us. Let them subscribe to our channel. Let them help us grow as we help you grow, okay? Above all, we celebrate you. We hope that you can use that number to book for your online and physical consultations. We thank people like Celo for always being here to gift us. We thank you, Neri, everyone who has taken chance to gift us today, to like our live, to share it, to be part of this. Thank you, blessed. All of you, we thank you so much. Thank you for those of you who have sat on YouTube all this time, just getting this health information. But remember to join our Telegram channel, Health and Wellness Sport. Go on Telegram, log in and just search Health and Wellness Sport. We are there. Okay? Thank you so much, and we hope that we can see you on Friday. Tomorrow we are resting. Take care of yourself and keep regurgitating these concepts. Go and relook through the videos, enjoy them, make the concept sink, and through that you will be a super guru. You'll be a medic, and above all, pray. Okay, do a silent prayer, reconnect with your spirits, make sure you have an identity, and we'll see you on Friday. Have a good night and take care of yourselves. Okay, bye.